Warriors versus the Phoebus Phantoms. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. We welcome you to Darling Stadium for tonight's contest between the undefeated, number one ranked Phoebus Phantoms and the once beaten Kecoughtan Warriors with an overall record of 7-1. And Bob, this game is extremely important to the Warriors as it is to Phoebus, but this is the last real battle for Phoebus. They have a game with Gloucester next week that they're expected to win handily, and if they can get by Kecoughtan this evening, that will clinch it for them. But Kecoughtan is very much in the hunt for a playoff position.
Well, they really are, and they've like when I was talking to Coach Austin on the sideline, Tim, they have made tremendous strides from last year. They won one game, and at this point, they've only lost one game. So, tremendous turnaround. He had the personnel. They just had to get used to his offensive schemes and everything. Kept the defensive the same. Dan Thompson, the defensive coordinator, that did not change. And, this is going to be a game that I expect to be fast-paced as far as time goes, because I don't look for the ball to be in the air much.
Well, both of these teams rely on the ground. There's no question about that. The Phantoms, number one in rushing offense, and the Kecoughtan Warriors are right up there as well with their big man, Alan Backus. So it's going to be a running attack. They do not rely on the pass. The thing that comes to your mind is when you see this, of course, is you think, well, okay, you're going to be going against two of the best defenses on the peninsula. So how are you going to run, or how are you going to move the ball? You may have to resort to the pass. And which of these two teams would be best equipped to do that, do you think?
Well, it's really funny because Kecoughtan's going to start a new quarterback tonight. Lachey McMillan's going to start instead of Matt Cross. And I think the reason they're doing that, not because Lachey is a better passer, but he is a better runner. And that gives the Kecoughtan one more option. But neither one of these teams have given up much yardage. They're both real stingy when it comes to the ground game. So you're right, but there is a lot of wind tonight. And you and I know that affects the pass. It probably affects the kicking game more so, but it will affect the pass, especially if you're not a passing team.
Well, let's talk about the Phoebus Phantoms first of all. They are 8-0, undefeated. They are looking to repeat as the state champions in Division 5, and they are well on their way. They're led by, of course, DJ Parker at quarterback and Elan Lewis, who has just done a great job rushing the ball for Bill D's team.
Yeah, but you have to look at who blocks for him. You got to go to that offensive line and his fullback. And you got a man amongst children, maybe. I don't know, but this Xavier Debe is one tough cookie out there. And he can run the ball well himself, but I tell you what, they love him because of the way he can block, and he can catch a pass too if he has to. But when you have a good offensive line that controls the line of scrimmage, you and I know that you can take the ball down the field, you can eat up a lot of clock, and score some points, and the other team is they're anxious because their offense can't get on the field.
And you would expect the Phantoms to be good on defense. They're number 2 in the Peninsula District on defense, behind number 1, Kecoughtan. So you've got these two great defenses. We saw a 7-3 game last week that we saw two teams that averaged better than 25 points a game, but they couldn't score against those defenses. I kind of expect the same kind of thing tonight.
Yeah, it could come to the point of turnovers or maybe field position. And that will have a big effect when you look at the wind tonight, and it's cool. And it's beautiful football weather. It's cool. The kids are not going to get overheated. But if you turn the ball over and then you have to kick into the wind, you give the other team real good field position. That's some of the things, the intangibles that'll make the difference in tonight's ball game, I think.
Well, right now we're going to go back in time, as Bob had a chance a little earlier, to talk to the head coach of the Phoebus Phantoms, Mr. Bill D.
Well, Bill, first of all, congratulations. A great season so far. Tonight's definitely football weather.
Oh, yeah, just like I grew up in. I actually like this weather.
Good. Listen, we talked a little bit this week about your coaches. And, the continuity of a coaching staff, very, very important. Let's talk about these coaches a little bit.
Well, Stan Sexton's been, and I don't remember exactly who's been with me last, but Stan's been with me since he started teaching at Phoebus. He does the special teams, linebackers, running backs. Coach Narver's my defensive coordinator, offensive line coach, DBs, Coach Day, helps me with the linemen, in the weight room, and he works with receivers. Coach Van Dyke has been with me for about 10, 11 years now. He helps with the receivers, and he does a great job with the kickers.
Well, I hear he also keeps you on.
Yeah, he keeps me square on the sidelines because I get a little excited sometimes. You never know what will come out of my mouth as far as formations and, but he keeps me straight. Coach Johnson's the JV coach, and he helps on the sidelines with both offensive, defensive spotting, and Coach Hobart, who's been with us the last couple of years, helps out with the JVs and the defensive backs. And Skip Perry's come over and started to help us, and Jerry King's always been around to help us. But the main of those guys have been with me for now the last maybe 10, 11, 12 years, and we're all on the same page. And those guys, a lot of credit has to go to that group of guys.
Well, but you also have to have some good athletes, and you guys doing a good job with them. But, the paper today, yesterday talked about the two running backs, Backus and Lewis. And Lewis, just a sophomore, has really proved. And I was surprised, 655-pound squat. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a strong kid. Worked hard in the weight room. I think he really made a goal of his to come out this year. He played under Baldy last year, and didn't get much playing time, and was determined to really make an impact, and he sure has. And the Backus kid, his stats speak for themselves. He was a great back last year, and he's a good one this year.
What kind of game you look for tonight?
I don't think it's going to be a long one. I think it'll be a real old-fashioned get after it type football game, and that's the way I like it.
Good enough. Well, listen, good luck tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Good enough. Let's go back up to Tim for tonight's starting lineups.
Well, Bill D is getting that rugged look, Bob. Looks like he didn't get real close to his razor. Maybe that's one of those don't shave on game day good luck things that coaches are.
Or keep you a little warmer.
That's right. But real briefly about the Phoebus Phantoms, of course, they have some real versatility to their offense. They've got Maurice Boone, who can definitely run with the ball, as well as Elan Lewis. And then they also have Philip Brown, who is a run and a receiving threat. So they have, and with DJ Parker, with his ability to both pass the ball and run with the ball, they really have perhaps more versatility in their offense than do the Kecoughtan Warriors.
Well, and one other thing I wanted to mention about the Phantoms is they got two real great improvements. A young man by the name of Garrett Powell, who was a freshman, is one of their starting tight ends. And then Marcel Horton as sophomore, tremendous improvement. So they're getting some guys that are moving up that eventually will be moving into the starting lineup next year, getting a lot of experience. And when you win a lot of games and you win them by pretty big points, that helps, bring your program around.
Sure it does. Now, talking about bringing a program around, here are the Kecoughtan Warriors, who last year lost to this Phoebus team 28-0. If you don't think that Coach Austin has reminded his team of their last year's game with Phoebus, as well as the fact that their record was exactly reverse of what it is this year, whereas last year they were 1-7, actually 1-8 at this point when they played Phoebus. This year they're 7-1, with their only loss a heartbreaking loss last week to the Hampton Crabbers. But talking a little bit about the offense for the Kecoughtan Warriors, although their defense is the number one defense on the peninsula, so we probably should talk more about them. But just real quickly, Alan Backus, what a great job this young man has done.
Oh, and he's such a workhorse. Plays both sides of the ball. I mean, he plays the whole game. And this is one of the things that's probably going to hurt Kecoughtan more than it is the Phantoms, because Phoebus has more personnel. Kecoughtan doesn't have that many other running backs. Backus is, quote, the running back for them, and he is their go-to man, and they're going to go to him until somebody stops him. And that's what you got to do. But, if he gets hurt, I don't know who they've got to come back in that will fill that void.
Well, and you're starting a quarterback tonight that hasn't been the regular starter. What a tough position to put this young man in, where he's coming in playing against the reigning state champion, the undefeated, only 22 points scored against this Phoebus team all year, 5 shutouts. What a tough spot for this young man to come in.
Well, but it also, you got to flip it over and look at Phoebus. They haven't seen this guy. What is he? This is an X factor out there. We don't know what he can do. Maybe he is a great passer, and that'll make Phoebus do some adjustments that they maybe wouldn't have done. So, it can work to the advantage of the Warriors. But I'm like you, it's a tough place to be put in.
Now the Kecoughtan defense, number 1. They are just phenomenal on defense, and we'll talk more about them when we have the opportunity, but their defense will be the story of this game tonight. In my opinion, if Kecoughtan has a chance to win this game, and I believe they have a chance, they have to stop the running attack of the Phoebus Phantoms.
Well, let's go to that interview.
All right, we're set to go back in time because we have got a great one for you tonight. Let's go back in time one more time and listen to the head coach, Tommy Austin, and Bob talked earlier.
Well, first of all, Coach, tough loss last week. I mean, it was close. Sometimes the breaks just don't go your way. The calls don't go your way. Sometimes it's tough to get the kids up. So how are they doing?
Had a real good week of practice. I mean, the kids came in Saturday. We watched the film, and I think they see where we let one get away from us. The determination not to let that happen again. At least this week, no matter what the outcome is, if we win, it'll be because we played well, and if we don't, it'll be because we got beat by a better team. It won't be because we make the kind of mistakes we made last week.
All right, now, I talked to D early in the season, and he told me, even though you won only one game last year, he said the hardest hitting team they played last year was Kecoughtan.
Well, and I appreciate that. Coach D's been very kind and very supportive of our program. Me being new here last year and having known Coach D at least, being acquainted with him for a long time, he was a big help to us. And, they, like I said last week, about Hampton, they're where we want to be, and that's what we strive, to catch up to. And Kecoughtan's been down for 3 or 4 years now, and, I don't know that we're there yet, but we're giving it our best shot anyway.
Well, you're making some giant steps towards that goal.
Well, we're trying. I think, the kids have worked real hard, the coaches have worked real hard, and, this is a test for us, just like last week. And last week we didn't pass the test, and, hopefully this week and next week we'll be able to pass that test and move on.
Well, listen, Coach, you guys are doing a fantastic job over there.
Thank you.
You got to take your hats off to your coaching staff because they're on the same page as you are, which is always important. We want to wish you good luck tonight.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it very much.
Good enough. Let's go back up to Tim and tonight's starting lineups.
Tonight's game brought to you by Zoom's, your friendly neighborhood store with 14 convenient locations to serve you. And by Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. Call them at 838-5450.
10 years ago, 10 or 20. And when I realized, well, I wasn't here.
And in part by Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home, located at Hampton Center Parkway at Armstead Avenue. Call them at 827-4670. And in part by Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling. Call them at 825-1416 or 850-5564. Tim Cole and Bob Hintz back here at Darling Stadium as you see the captains for each team meeting at the center of the field. Let's go down for the pregame ceremonies and referee Carter Ficklin.
As I said, I'm Mr. Ficklin, your referee. The other officials are Mr. Owens, Mr. McGurlin, Mr. Mayhew, Mr. Moore, and Mr. Wyatt. We're going to call you green, you gold for purpose of identification. Guys, one thing we want here tonight is good, hard football with no talking between the teams. If we have to give a warning, can we get your captains to help us with that? Okay, thank you. Okay, you going to call it? Okay, I've got a head and a tail. What are you going to call? I'm going to call a head. It's a tail. It's a tail. You want to receive or defer your choice? Defer. Kecoughtan won the toss and has deferred that choice until the start of the second half. Phoebus is going to receive. Which goal do you want to defend? You want to kick this way? Phoebus captain, step down here with me. Phoebus will receive the opening kickoff at this end. Captain, shake hands and have a good ball game. Phoebus will receive.
All right, we thank you, referee Carter Ficklin. And there you see the officials for tonight's contest. The umpire is Chris Owens. The linesman is Ron Wyatt. Jim Mayhew is your line judge. The field judge is Craig Moore. And Chip McErlin is the back judge. Tom Ewing is the clock operator. And, Bob, I was going to ask you a question.
Sure.
What coach would you choose as the coach of the year on the Peninsula District if you were given an opportunity to make that choice?
I'd pick Tommy Austin because of the turnaround that Kecoughtan team has done. And you got to go to the head coach to see that kind of things done, and I'm sure you would agree with that.
And that's why I raised that question. Here's a young man who's come in from the Isle of Wight area, and he has taken a team that was 1-9 last year, and they could potentially be 9-1, although they have some big stumbling blocks with both Phoebus and Woodside on the horizon. Right now, we're going to show you the starting offense for the Phoebus Phantoms.
Anthony Robinson, Jr. Xavier Little, Jr.
Wes King, Senior. Justin Chetney, Senior. Jason Bowles, Senior.
Matt Wright, freshman. Darnell Allen, senior. Phillip Brown, senior. DJ Parker, senior.
Xavier Deeby, Senior. Eden Lewis, sophomore.
Short kickoff, Tim.
Short kickoff and an abbreviated opening for the offensive lineup. It's hard to get them all in there, but we do want you to have a chance to see these gentlemen. And the Phantoms will have great field position as a result of the short kickoff. They'll take it at their 44-yard line with the ball to start. As you may have seen, the coin toss was won by the Warriors, and they deferred to the second half. So they wanted to have a chance to put that number one defense on the field initially. This is Lewis, and Elan Lewis picks up nice yardage across midfield to the 49 of Kecoughtan. Let's take a look at the defense for the Kecoughtan Warriors.
Corey Davis, senior.
Corey Davis, senior.
John McDonald, senior. Wilson Banks, senior. Fire Artillery, junior. Ed Ross, senior. Gerard Mayo, junior. Dante Edwards, senior. Darnell Harrison, senior.
Lachey McMillan, Junior. Alan Backus, Senior.
Those are the starters on defense. While you were watching that, there was a play run without a huddle. The Phantoms not cooperating with us tonight in our efforts to show all of the starters, but they ran a quick play and handed the ball to Xavier Adibi, who has come up about a yard short. It's 3rd down and 1 on the initial possession by the Phantoms. DJ Parker over center, I formation, give to Adibi. He is the man they give the ball to when they need a yard. He gets 3.
And he really did. Tim, I need to make a real quick change. I talked earlier about Garrett Powell and Marcel Horton. They're two defensive linemen that's improved. The two young surprises was young Matt Wright playing defensive end as a freshman, and Steve Friday.
This is Atlanta Lewis.
Oh.
A flag down on the play. Lewis literally running out of his shoe in an effort to get away from the tackler, but a penalty flag on the play. Lewis almost broke that one all the way. As you'll watch on the replay here, Lewis had one man if he could have gotten away from him, but it's going to be wiped out in any event.
We got a holding call. Did you see the paper where he squats 655? That's amazing.
I thought perhaps that was a typo because that's an incredible amount for a young man his size. He's not all that big, but the holding call.
And that's a spot foul, and it's not a full 10 yards.
So they move the ball back to the 49.5-yard line of the Phantoms. So instead of a nice gain for almost a first down, it's first down and 15-16.
Well, you see Kecoughtan has got 8 men right up in the box.
DJ Parker on the option, gives to Lewis. Lewis tries to get the corner. He does. He turns the corner, and McMillan got a hand on him. He'll be very close to the first down. He'll be, well, I won't say anything till they mark it. It's going to be real close.
It's hard to see right there, Tim. While they're looking at that, we will pick a player of the game for both of these teams tonight. Each player receive a trophy and a shirt. The trophy comes from Trophy World. They're located in the historic Hilton Village in Newport News. For all your recognition, awards, needs, trophies, plaques, and custom engraving, contact Bob Hilling at Trophy World at 595-7354. Mention this announcement for special pricing. And I'll tell you about the shirt right after this play, and they got that first down.
They did. They got it right at the first down marker. Lewis again gets the call, and he will be stopped for a short gain. And in on the stop, a name we've become very familiar with, Jared Mayo, number 10, on the stop. He had some help, and I didn't pick up the number of the assist, but Mayo has just got a great nose for the ball.
He got our player of the game last week. The shirt comes from Tidewater Team Sports, your one-stop sports headquarters for screen printing, embroidery, uniforms, and apparel. Call 594-0411 and talk to Dave Chubb or Terry McNamara.
Clock moving, 9:50 remaining in a scoreless first quarter. Phoebus with the ball on the initial possession. DJ Parker will throw, and he'll overthrow his intended receiver on the pattern, Philip Brown, who is a double threat because he not only can run with the ball, but he's great at catching. He's the number 4 receiver on the Peninsula District, 15 catches, 256 yards. There you see the replay.
And that ball
overthrew
just
him.
floated on him because he's throwing into the wind.
Brown with 3 touchdowns and averages 17 yards per
Well,
catch.
actually, Tim, he's actually throwing with the wind.
Well, that's part of the problem is the wind is swirling. Unfortunately, a while ago it was blowing from left to right. And this is the middle screen to Brown, and Brown is in first down territory at the 21-yard line.
What a great call that was, Tim.
That's a beautiful play. I'm not going to say I told you so, but you have to think if the defense is so good against the run, you've got to figure out a way to loosen up that run defense.
Now, that'll loosen them up.
Great-looking pass play to Brown over the middle, and he got another first down. So the Phantoms move the chains, and they're at the Kecoughtan 21-yard line, moving the ball sharply on their first possession. This is Lewis again. Elan Lewis cuts to the right and then is stood up as he gets to about the 17-yard line.
And ran into Mayo.
Yeah, Mayo
with a host of others.
He and his buds, amongst others, was number 5, Byron Tillery, another name that we've gotten very familiar with. Here's the replay. You're going to see Lewis cut to the right, and then the defense closed very quickly. But a good gain on the play. Picked up 4.
He is so quick and powerful for just a sophomore. They're real pleased with his development. He has really put some strong time. Now, this is called the elephant, this formation with the 3 in the back.
Oh, and Lewis is nailed on a beautiful defensive play by Wilson Banks, who came from the left side and drove him with the tackle. What a classic defensive play by Wilson Banks. Watch this on the replay.
Nobody hit Banks.
Yep.
You got to put a pad on him, slow him down. Well, that's the play they ran against Hampton a couple times and scored.
No gain on that play, as the Kecoughtan defense showed their mettle on that particular instance. 3rd down and about 6. Parker swing pass, picked off. This is Jared Mayo. He has one man to beat. DJ Parker has an angle on him, and Parker will definitely stop him inside the 10-yard line, but it'll be first and goal for the Warriors.
And the turnovers, big turnover.
Jared Mayo picked him clean. He read the quarterback completely, stepped in front of the ball, and went 71 yards. Watch this. You can't float that thing up like that. Mayo, you won't see him in your screen yet, but closing quickly is the quarterback, DJ Parker, a very quick young man, and he prevented the touchdown. First and goal at the 9-yard line.
What a big break for the Warriors, not only to get a turnover, but get that kind of a field position after the turnover with a first and goal.
But now they have to work against that tough Phoebus defense, and we'll give you those starters in a moment. This is Wilson Banks, and Banks will get a yard or so.
And he was hit in the backfield by Quincy McWright, but didn't get wrapped up.
Julius McCormick, senior.
Mike Gaddis, sophomore.
Corey Davis, senior.
Ed Ross, senior.
Darnell Harrison, senior.
Dante Edwards, senior.
Lachey McMillan, junior.
Jeremy Reese, senior.
Alan Backus, senior.
Alan Backus's name was being said by himself, and he got the call, Alan Backus, but he did not get much as they mark his forward progress to about the 7. So a gain of 2. It's 3rd and goal at the 7-yard line, and that tough Phoebus defense doing the job. We'll give you those starters in just a moment. As time allows, we want to keep the live action for you as much as we can. Lachey McMillan, the young man starting at quarterback tonight, a junior, and McMillan on the fake. Got away from one man, got away from another, but he won't get away from the pursuit as he is going to be sacked. Back to the 13. Here are the Phantoms on defense.
Junior.
Garrett Powell, junior.
Stephen Friday, sophomore.
Quincy McWright, sophomore.
Emmanuel Anderson, senior.
Xavier Deavy, senior.
Travis Richmond, senior.
Brandon Seminario, senior. Philip Brown, senior.
DJ Parker, senior.
Janason Jenkins, senior.
Ryan Curtis with the field goal attempt from 30, and it's good. A 30-yard field goal from Ryan Curtis off of the interception by Jared Mayo has given the Warriors, the first scorer, a 30-yard field goal.
We want to welcome Hampton Chevrolet as one of our corporate sponsors. Welcome them back. Hampton Chevrolet is located at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. Give them a call, 838-5450. Here's the field goal. And we're right in there, right between them.
So with 6:07 remaining in the first quarter, the Phantoms, after giving up the turnover, the defense did the job to prevent the 6, but they had to give up the field goal. What's his name? Curtis. Ryan Curtis. So the Warriors will kick it off for the second time. This will be a low bouncer taken at the 22-yard line by Maurice Boone. Boone still going across the 30 to about the 31 or 32. So again, the Phantoms will have good field position. They were moving the ball, but got picked off in that big return.
Yeah. And that's what you got to be concerned about is when you're not passing the ball. It was the receiver was open if you would have fired the ball hard, but if you lobbed it up there like you had alluded to, Jarrett's eyes Mayo's eyes got real big.
We have people that don't know how to close a door in this booth tonight. I'm not sure why, but it's rather chilly up here tonight, folks. This is Adibi, Xavier Adibi. So a gain of about 6 for Adibi, and he is workers. There you see a good look at the crowd on hand. A cold, I was starting to say cool. It's not cool. It's cold, crisp night, but it's a really great night for the guys to play football
night.
And there you see a new addition to our program. A little flash of the screen on the screen of a score and down and time up there. Let me see that again, guys. That was impressive. I like that.
Yeah, we just got all.
Watch the replay. You're going to see.
Wilson Banks on the stop again.
It's going to be close enough to measure. Referee Ficklin is going to bring the chains out. Bob, it looks to me that he's going to miss it by about an inch.
An inch?
An inch. Yeah, this is real close. This is real close stuff here. Missed it by an inch or made it by an inch. One of the two.
I think you've.
He missed it, made it by an inch.
You better check. I see you padded your score there.
Well, but all right, but I was only off an inch.
That's true.
But there was a first down by inches at the 42-yard line. I thought from my angle I had that one nailed, but it was close.
Well, when you start talking inches, I know you got your eagle eye on tonight.
The Phantoms finding themselves trailing. One of the rare times in this season that they've been in that capacity. In fact, I'm not sure they've trailed all year. This is Lewis, and Lewis has good yardage down to the 46-yard line. That'll be enough for another first down. Gain of 12 yards.
Zooms has 14 convenient peninsula locations, and you get your Beantown coffee, which we could use tonight. Some fried chicken, pizza, potato wedges, Krispy Kreme donuts, the way Tim likes them, box in one, ham and cheese, subs, Coke, and that good Citgo gas. Fill up your tank with, and they open that door again. Somebody's nuts.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I know. They're trying to get some of that heat outside.
What heat? It's not the heat we're letting out. It's the cold we're letting in.
Well, the people outside want it.
Just lock it. That'll take care of that problem.
Start against the offense, still first down, 5-yard penalty.
I like the way Mike Hauser thinks. I know how to solve that problem. We'll just lock the door. Move the ball back 5 yards, so the penalty will move the ball into Phoebus territory at their 49-yard line. As you see Bill D in the middle of your picture across the way as the Phantoms, the visitors for tonight's contest. And there you see the score and the down and where the ball is. Little A flash of information on the top of your screen. We're always trying to improve our coverage here on Channel 46. Hope you've enjoyed our regular season coverage. This is the final game of our regular season. I swear, Bob, it seems like we just had the kickoff to the opening game last week.
It's gone by very fast. Byron Tillery in on the stop that time and only picked up about a yard. A DB.
There you see the scoreboard and the time remaining here in a rapidly moving first quarter. Ball marked at the 49 of Kecoughtan. They need to get to the 36-yard line for the first down. It's second down and about 13 for the Phantoms. DJ Parker, swing pass far side. And is it a pass or is it a lateral? It's an interception regardless. Picked off. I couldn't tell whether it was a lateral or an interception. In any event, Darnell Harrison, number 6, has come up with the second turnover of the ball game.
Now their defense is forcing the Phantoms to pass the ball.
Watch if we can see if this is a lateral. Now let's see if the ball is on the ground, but it was ruled a lateral, so it's considered a fumble, a backward pass, if you will. So the Warriors with Backus again trying to capitalize after the turnover. A little extra contact after the play was over with. Xavier Adibi took exception to being drilled after he felt the whistle had blown. So a pickup of almost 6 on the play. Second down and a long 4 for the Warriors. These two ground-oriented teams. But so far the pass has hurt the Phantoms with one a fumble and the other an interception.
McWright.
Wrapped up in the backfield. That would be Quincy McWright. Watch this replay. Backus gets the ball and McWright is there almost at the same time for the stop. A loss back to the 45-yard line. Brings up third down and 8.
Coming off that defensive end position, nobody hit him, and he just shot right into the backfield and met the. What did they lose? Lost at least a couple yards on it.
Yes,
right?
they did. Third and 8. Need to get to the 37-yard line. On the inside handoff, this is Reese, and that will not get the job done. As making a nice defensive play to come over was Travis Richmond, number 12, to prevent Reese from getting started, and that'll bring on the kicking team for the Warriors. I don't think you're going to see a lot of gambling on the part of either of these coaches. The wind, by the way, has picked up substantially into the face of the kicker, Ryan Curtis. So this could be a good opportunity for the Phantoms. They've got 10 men on the line. They're going to be coming after the kicker.
I got him. You know.
And he's got a real stiff breeze right now in his face.
He's only back 11 yards.
The rush coming, he gets it away. It's a relatively good kick. Takes a nice Kecoughtan bounce, and it'll be downed by the Warriors at the 19-yard line of Phoebus.
Well, that turnover didn't hurt the Phantoms, but it's got to affect them mentally when you're turning the ball over.
28-yard punt with no return, and that was a good-looking kick from Curtis because, A, he was feeling some pretty good pressure, and B, that breeze in his face. He got a nice 5, almost 6-yard roll out of it.
Well, it's as much rain as we've gotten the last couple of weeks, Tim. That field is real soft, so you're not going to get a whole lot of roll when that ball hits the ground.
We've had rain virtually all this week, as folks will remember. This game, of course, videotaped on the 1st of November, 2002. Quick hitter, a couple of yards out to about the 22, almost the 23. A gain of almost 4. Elan Lewis carrying the ball. Excuse me, that's not Lewis, but that's Boone, rather. Maurice Boone. So he gained 4. Second down and 6 for the Phantoms. If you just joined us, the Phantoms were intercepted, and a 71-yard return by Jared Mayo set up a 30-yard field goal by Ryan Curtis for our only score in the ball game. Phantoms have had 2 turnovers. Not typical of them. This is Lewis, and Lewis darting from left to right finally dragged down at the 32-yard line, but not until he gets a first down for the Phantoms.
And that was Alan Backus that made the stop.
From the ground level, you'll see Lewis, and now we'll switch to the high shot. And Backus was over there amongst others to put the stop on Lewis, but not until they moved the chains for another first down. Phantoms have gotten the majority of the first downs in this game, but still trail 3-0. This is Lewis again, and Lewis will have another first down with a gain of about almost 11 yards. So the running attack doing the job against this tough Kecoughtan defense.
Watch the leg drive of this young man after he gets hit. I mean, he's not an easy guy to bring down.
Ball marked at the 43-yard line, and that will be the end of the first quarter, as the first 12 minutes have moved rapidly with a predominantly running attack for both these two teams. Starting to say the Warrior defense, as I mentioned in the pregame conversation, number 1 on the Peninsula District. They had been number 3, and even after playing Hampton, they retained their number 1 position. But they only allow 159 yards a game, and of those yards, they only allow 61 rushing. So right now, they've given up more yardage on the ground than they usually give up in an entire game.
Well, and a lot of that, you got to take your hat off to Dan Thompson, the defensive coordinator for the Warriors. Just done a tremendous job.
Phoebus, 8 minutes and 10 seconds time of possession, 350 for the Warriors, but a 71-yard interception return makes up a lot of ball control difference.
It really does.
But I would say, and having said that, you can't just rely on those type of things, because Phoebus generally isn't going to turn the ball over. So the Warriors have got to generate some offense when they have the ball. Better than 2-1 time of possession in favor of the Phantoms. This is Xavier Adibi on first down, and he drives forward for about 4 yards out to about the 47-yard line. The Kecoughtan Warriors' number 1 defense. They give up 159 yards per game. They only allow 8 points per game. They give up almost 100 yards passing and 61 rushing. The other side of the coin is Phoebus comes in this game with the number 1 offense.
Yeah.
40 points a game and 314 yards a game rushing. This is one of the reasons Elan Lewis looked to cut outside. A great defensive play by Dante Edwards, who
just did a great job.
Fought the block and caused him to go outside and made the tackle. Nice play by Edwards.
If he could have cut inside, he'd have picked up much better yardage. We got a flag on the play? Or?
Yep, penalty flag back at about the 46-yard line on the far side of the field. I give up trying to keep that door closed. It's just not going to happen.
They don't know. We got people born in a barn, I guess, or something.
11:20 remaining in the first half as they are discussing the options with the Warriors.
Illegal procedure against the Phantoms again. Boy, they have just been shooting themselves in the foot with the penalties.
Well, it's just not been typical of the Phantoms. 2 turnovers and untimely penalties.
Replay, second down, 5-yard penalty.
We hear that penalty a lot, or see that penalty a lot in our 9 or 8 games rather of doing high school sports this year. The football games we've seen, illegal procedure for not having enough men on the line of scrimmage is
well, it's the man that goes wide. He checks with the sideline official and say, "Am I on the line?" And sometimes I guess they don't check.
On the draw play, Elan Lewis, it just took too long to materialize, and making the stop was number 30, and that is Vance Beal.
That's Biala.
And he got shaken up in the game we watched, because we've had Kecoughtan now 3 weeks in a row just through the quirk of the schedule. But he's played very well, and we're glad to see him back, because he was shaken up in that game. I believe it was against Hampton, and left the field with some rather ginger walking, if I remember correctly. There you see Old Glory swirling around here at a very chilly Darling Stadium tonight. DJ Parker fakes the handoff, wants to throw, and hops one to his intended receiver, incomplete. And again, no criticism of DJ Parker, but passing is just not the forte of this team.
It sure isn't. And that brings up a 4th down. Zooms is giving an award to the senior player on each of the teams this year who has demonstrated academic excellence. These players be awarded plaques at a school board meeting after the season. We'd like to thank David Allen and Zooms for the continued support of WHCS and our student athletes.
And now Greg Narvid will have to kick into that breeze. So the Warriors with an opportunity to get some field position. Narvid standing and will kick from about his 30-yard line. Got a good-looking kick, all things considered, but it takes a Kecoughtan roll and is downed at the 38-yard line by a Phoebus Phantom.
Man, that's
we were talking about the lack of a passing attack that the Phantoms have. Why would you worry about passing when you have 314 yards on average on the ground?
Yeah.
You know, the old Woody Hayes adage.
Three
things
yards
can
in a
happen.
cloud of dust,
Three
right?
things happen when you pass, and 2 of them are bad.
Well, and that's happened tonight for the Phantoms.
22-yard punt. There you see our man, the award-winning Ken Silver. And whenever you see a great sports picture in the daily press, you'll usually see his name associated with it. Over the middle, McMillan completes the pass and tripped up at the 25-yard line. That is the big fullback, Ed Ross, or tight end, rather.
Tight end, Ed Ross.
Ed Ross got open over the middle, and McMillan found him.
Well, Kecoughtan was, the Phantoms were, looked like they were blitzing a linebacker, Tim, and it just opened up the lane so he could get the ball right to big Ed Ross.
36 yards on the play. So, again, as we talked about, if you can't run against your opponent, you've got to figure out some way to pass. The toss goes to Alan Backus, and he gets to the 25, so he picks up just a yard, maybe a yard and a half, but that's all. That tough.
Well, let me tell you,
defense.
If we watch on a deep replay, you'll see Quincy McWright get in there and force him. Watch him right there. Forces the runner back in where all the tacklers are. Great job by Quincy McWright.
Didn't look like they gave him a very good spot. His knee must have gone down sooner than it appeared because it looked like the ball actually ended up at the 24, but they spotted the 25. Backus in motion to the left, and now we've got a stoppage of play, and a penalty flag flies rather late, but a penalty flag nonetheless. So I don't know whether we had 2 men in motion at the same time, which might have been the case.
Well, that usually comes from the
here's the play I was
referee.
talking about as far as the spot was concerned. There's the 25, and his body is laying halfway across the 25.
Violation will result in a penalty.
All right, so that you heard referee Ficklin, and we appreciate he and the other officials this year that have allowed us to put a microphone on him, and you've heard what that is, and that's when the team just gets a little too close to the action. There's a certain area that they're allowed to go between the 25-yard lines, and when they go too far downfield or get too close to the side of the field, and it's for a safety reason. You know, if you get too close to the field and start running towards you, you run into people, somebody's going to get hurt. So we're set to resume play with 9:06 to go in the half. And Backus is in motion again as he was in the previous set. This is a flare pass left side. Completes it to number 6, Darnell Harrison, young man who recovered that lateral earlier and now playing on offense, picks up nice yardage on the pass. So gain of 5 on the play. It'll be third down rather, and 5.
And Tim, they're definitely in the field goal range again.
Well, and they have the wind to their back.
To their back, yeah.
And interesting, coming into this game, Mickle, the kicker for the Phantoms, has 4 field goals. I'm not sure whether Curtis has kicked a field goal other than last week against Hampton, and he did have their only
I think he may
points.
have got the first down.
It'll be very close depending on the spot. Got close to the, well, they spotted at the 15.5. That is a first down according to our point of view. I got to redeem myself for that earlier blown call. I'm going to say it's a first down by about a foot.
It looked like he got it from the run, but I don't know about the spot because you can never tell from this angle.
Now, this is a tough angle, but I think he got it by a foot. Yeah, length of the football. So I get a little of my expertise credit back, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Just about 10%.
Just the second first down of the ball game for the Warriors versus 6 recorded by the Phantoms. So the ball at the 16-yard line, first down for the Warriors, leading 3-0. Looking to upset the Phantoms. And this is McMillan. Lachey McMillan can't find anybody and finally has to step out of bounds. He could have thrown the ball into the end zone area and not been called for grounding as long as he was in a general area. He was outside the tackle box and didn't have to take the loss. Not that it was substantial. He lost 1.5 yards. But see him rolling down here. He can throw the ball, and he wouldn't have gotten a penalty. But nonetheless, a loss back to the 17. Brings up second down and a long 11. And one of the Warriors, the kind of thing that'll just drive you crazy. Won't pick up.
The coaches
not gonna mention who it was because we saw who it was.
No.
But just a little anxious. One of the linemen moved prematurely.
A false start against the offense.
You can hear in the official's mic how wild that wind is down there.
They got penalty flags not being thrown in earnest.
So. No, I think they're throwing at each other and they can't catch them.
Trying to make sure everyone's got one.
All right, now you got yours.
Flag dropped from his pocket. A player threw it to the sideline. There is no flag on the play.
Yeah, well, you heard referee Ficklin explain it. Thank you again. The officials, the player threw it on the officials. This is Backus, and Backus gets back to about the original line of scrimmage and brings up a third down and about 10.
Well, that was Manny Anderson, number 8, along with Big Quest King, all 300 pounds of him.
I apologize. Let me correct myself. That is not back to the line of scrimmage. That is 5 yards further away from the line of scrimmage. That was after the penalty. It is at the 20. The original line of scrimmage was a 15, so it's 3rd and 15 for the Warriors. Fake the draw. McMillan rolling, wants to throw, and it is intercepted. It appears to incomplete, they say.
Must have went down on the, must hit the ground, but Xavier Deeby, well, I mean, he had as good a shot as anybody.
I thought he had it. Let's watch the replay. The officials very close, but the ball hit the ground. So the officials right on top of the play. So now a 37-yard field goal attempt with the wind. Ryan Curtis, the left-footed kicker. Good hold. Kick is long enough, and it's good. So the Warriors, there you see the Warrior faithful enjoying this 6-0 lead.
They got to be in 7th heaven right now. We'll talk a little bit about a crew. We got Jason Porter, Scotty Bowers, directing, Mike Lewinsky's doing a little bit of anything. Tonight, Andy Foley is graphics, John Terrell, Rachel Barnes. Don Charaus is the engineer, but he's also on the boom camera down there. John Moore, Juan Brown, Ricky Richardson, Beth Barker, Susan Bowers on the camera, Ron Baton on the camera, and Nathaniel Braxton's on the camera, and Andre Mattingly doing slow motion. Andre, I didn't forget you tonight, guy.
Well, Ryan Curtis, the difference in this ballgame. Do we have a shot of the guys in the truck? Can we show the fans at home the hard-working crew? These guys who are in the heat of the night are air-conditioned, and in the cold of the night
heat. There they go. There you go. There's a good shot of them.
There are the guys. There's Andy and all the other guys. Scotty Bowers. And Philip Brown almost broke a big return. He stopped at the 36-yard line.
He picked that up at about the 16, 17-yard line.
About a 20-yard return on the kick.
Phoebus will take over 1st and 10 from the 36-yard
19-yard return.
Yeah, that's close.
Close enough for government work. We see the Kecoughtan Warrior quilt, I guess that is. And of course, the Warrior emblem.
Is that all right? He said, okay, or you want to jump?
7:09 remaining in the first half. This is Elan Lewis trying to break open. He picked up a little bit of yardage. In on the stop for the Warriors was again Vance Biala. And again, we hope we're pronouncing his name correctly. So gain of 5 on the play by Lewis. Lewis coming into the contest averaging 126 yards per game. That's more than double the amount of yardage allowed by the Warriors. 80 yards on 12 carries, and he gets the call again, and this will be enough for a first down out close to midfield.
He is, as long as Phoebus doesn't make any mistakes and hurt themselves and put them in second and long and third and long, they should feel like they can move the ball down the field and score.
Back to the live action, and this is Brown. So Philip Brown will pick up about 3 yards out to the Kecoughtan 37-yard line, almost 4 yards, depending on the spot.
But see that you are so intuitive about this Kecoughtan defense. They have just played just tremendously tonight so far.
Gain of 4, second down and 6. They have bent but not broken. Little mix-up in the backfield. DJ Parker is going to have some problem. He scoots to the out-of-bound marker, but that was a mix-up. It appeared, at least, that he and Lewis were on different calls. Watch the replay.
Yeah.
You see DJ Parker thought he was going to hand it off to Lewis. Lewis thought he was faking it. And that results in a loss back to the 49-yard line. So they lose 4.
And there you go, your third and long.
Yeah, see, that's what
another mistake.
Nothing typical of what Phoebus has done this year has occurred so far, except their ability to run the ball. They've controlled the ball and run the ball, but then they've turned the ball over and they've committed plays and penalties that you just don't normally see them do. On the pitch to Lewis. Lewis has the corner. He's got some running room. He's close to the first down.
Yeah, he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah.
Well short of the first down.
He'll be down by a couple of yards. It'll be 4th down for the Phantoms. We'll wait for the official mark. As you watch the replay, this is the option. It looked like both defenders went for DJ Parker, which allowed Lewis some running room. So he'll be about 2 yards short of the first down. So if you're the Phantoms, what do? They're going to go for it. They're going to do it quickly, too. They're not going to allow the Warriors to get huddled on defense to think about this. Now, they may go with a hard count to try and draw them off. They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Let's see if that is, in fact, what they try to do here. Yep, long count by Parker. Now he'll check off. Got the I formation, and they will run the play, and this is a DB, and I don't think he
didn't make it. He didn't make it.
It'll depend on the spot, but I don't think he made it. They say that was Lewis, in fact. The DB was not in there. Watch the replay.
No, it's too short.
You watch his forward progress. They'll bring the chains out, but he missed it by almost a yard. So that's the option of the opponent to request a measurement, but quite frankly, that's a gimme. Even I can get that one right. We had that occur once. They had taken out about a yard worth of chain once.
Yeah.
That was the only way that would be off. So needless to say, when they stretch the chain, it is still almost a yard short. So the Phantoms have the play stuffed. Didn't realize we were going to be on camera. We got on camera all of a sudden.
We were on camera?
Yeah.
Without the light on?
No, we were zoomed in from down below. Got a shiny, bald head in there. I said, I recognize that head from somewhere. So the Warriors take over on downs. And Backus fumbled it, but it came right back to him.
Bounced right back to him.
It's nice to have that kind of thing going for you. You know the night's going well when you fumble and it comes right back into your hands.
I don't know if you heard the
late flag down. Had some contact. I don't mean to interrupt you, but we had contact between a couple of players. Again, I won't name them, but there was some continuing conversation going, and then a flag well after the play was over with. It's going to be unsportsmanlike against the Phantoms.
Oh, man. Big penalty. But I was trying to tell you, I don't know if you heard the interview I had with Tommy Austin, because we don't hear it sometimes. But he said, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And nice lucky bounce to Alan Backus. He fumbled the ball and bounced right back up into his own hands.
Well, in all honesty, the Warriors really got the inopportune calls last week, and for all intents and purposes, they could have won that game against Hampton, and just through a couple of bad breaks, ended up on the wrong end of a 7-3 score. So it would be to their advantage. They would almost feel like they had it coming to them.
After the play was over, there was unsportsmanlike conduct against a Phoebus player, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So that was the call. The two players, and obviously we'll never know what was exchanged between the two. There was a little bit of contact. It looked like everything was going to settle down, but then apparently something was said, because then the flag came down and gave a 15-yard penalty.
Oh, nice cross buck that time.
Reese was the ball carrier for the Warriors.
Watch this. He's coming to fake one way, and he comes back across the grain.
DJ Parker in on the stop, and another penalty on the play. And we believe this will be against the offense. Illegal shift. So both teams making some mistakes here. We are at 5:02 to go in the first half.
We have a first down, 5 yards. It will still be first down, first and 15.
First and 15 for the Warriors, as you heard referee Ficklin. This game extremely important to both of these teams. Quite frankly, it's more important to the Warriors' playoff hopes, because they have a game tonight, obviously, with these Phantoms, and then next week they take on Woodside, the once beaten Woodside team. So they've got a tough road to the playoffs, but they control their own destiny. And right now, they're doing the job. This is Alan Backus and that left side of the offensive line doing a good job for the Warriors. He picked up about 4, second down and 11. They need to get to the 32-yard line. The ball is at the 43. Lone setback in the backfield is Backus, and the pitch goes to him, and he is tripped up on a nice defensive play by Jennison Jenkins, number 21.
Jenkins, good job.
Number 25, Alan Backus. Number 21.
You get an arm on Backus and trip him up, you've done a pretty good job, because he's a hard man to bring down.
Hampton Chevrolet Jeep Mazda. Give him a call, 838-5450, one of our corporate sponsors, 1073 West Mercury Boulevard.
Can you call over to Zooms while you're at it and have them deliver some of that hot Beantown coffee so I can pour it on my feet?
Just soak it.
No, it's not that cold.
Big cup.
Not that cold, but it would be nice to have some hot Beantown coffee. Maybe a little pizza. Got a flag down. McMillan throws the ball at the last second.
But there was holding back here.
Yeah.
Lachey McMillan brought down by number 3.
Now he threw it in the general area of a receiver, a DB.
I think it was number 3. I think that was. Is that
I'm sorry,
Bellamy?
DB on defense. Excuse me. I got my players mixed up for a minute there. A DB is a receiver, but on the other side.
Oh. Well, I don't know if he's going to have intentional grounding and holding. What's he going to have?
Well, I don't think you have. Again, I don't know that the rule allows you outside the tackle box to throw it towards the line of scrimmage if that negates the. I don't know if the rule is exactly the same as it is in college and pros. But it appears to be against the Warriors. I suspect it's the holding call.
Well, and if it's from the point of the infraction, Tim, it's at almost the 50-yard line.
Right. Well, let's let referee Ficklin tell us.
Kecoughtan, stop! Real! Kecoughtan, stop!
A holding against the offense will be in yards from the spot of the flag. After the play was over, there was a dead ball, personal foul against the defense. Will go 15 yards out.
So that's.
Okay, he's getting the 15.
So we have penalties against each team.
Will they just offset?
We're back to 3rd down and 9.
Oh, they're going to replay.
Replay it.
Left in the first half.
They offset. Turn off your microphone,
Well,
please.
I don't know how it reset. One's a dead ball and one's a live ball.
No, they were live ball. Well, they were both live ball penalties.
No.
You
he
had
said-
roughing the passer, and you had holding.
Oh, okay.
So now it is 4th and 13,
For number 2, Dante Edwards.
and we'll watch the replay of that last action. Ball just sailed over the intended receiver's head. So now Ryan Curtis, who is the difference in this ball game, having kicked a 30 and a 37-yard field goal, will be on to punt. He'll have the wind at his back, so he should be able to get a pretty good one away. Phantoms with 10 men on the line. And they're coming, but they did not get it. And this one goes out of bounds, so we'll let the officials line it up. It's going to go out around the 18-yard line. So effective enough in that you don't have one of those dangerous return men from the Phantoms burn you with a long return. And it's inside the 20, so you can't complain too much.
No, as a coach, you got to say right now, Kecoughtan has come out and have done basically what they wanted to. Phoebus has come out and has made 2 turnovers, cost them 3 points and 1 turnover, and then just penalties have really hurt them. And we're talking 15-yard penalties and holding penalties.
And again, that Kecoughtan defense, the interior line, just stuffing the ball carrier, Lewis.
Well, that was 55 Corey C. Davis and 5 Byron Tillery.
38 Elon Lewis. And on the tackle, number 55 Corey C. Davis.
So pickup of almost 2 yards on the play. 2nd down and 8 for the Phantoms. Each team still has their complement of timeouts, each with 3 remaining, and 2:47, and the clock is moving. Kecoughtan 6 and Phoebus nothing as we are approaching halftime. This is a fake as DJ Parker keeps the ball, and he is nailed on a Jared Mayo is starting to rapidly become one of my favorite defensive players. He put a classic slam dunk on DJ Parker.
Well, in all fairness to Parker, Parker spun and was really off his feet.
Watch the tackle here.
Right here, he was basically airborne.
He was. So they're going to look at this one. It may be close enough to measure for the 1st down.
Well, they moved the ball.
Yeah.
Well, they should have left it where he went down.
No. I don't think he got it. It looks like he's going to miss it by about 6 inches. But yeah, they should have left it on the side. Well, look, see, I can't tell from this angle. He got the first down.
But yeah, if you're going to measure, you don't move the ball.
No, you
First and 10 Phoebus. 2 minutes, 19 seconds.
So they
left in
do
the
get a
second
first
quarter.
down. And I'm 1 for 2 today. I'm 1 for 3.
You just better. Maybe you need some more nuts or something. I don't know.
You got some more
carrots?
Pistachios? Carrots. That's what I need. I need some carrot juice up here. That's what I need. On the delayed handoff to Lewis. Lewis out to about the 33, almost the 34-yard line.
Handoff to number 38 Elon Lewis. There to stop
Watch this replay as we are at the 2-minute mark. Clock moving.
Number 5.
Phantoms with the hurry-up offense. Again, they still have 3 timeouts remaining. And this is Lewis again on the handoff, and Lewis dragging a tackler, and then he is gang tackled by others, including Byron Tillery.
And he maybe picked up the first down.
Depending on his forward progress, and of course the stop of the clock to measure is to the advantage of the Phantoms as well, as it stops the clock with 1:44 remaining.
And it is a first down, Tim.
So they won't even measure. They stop the clock, and now they'll restart the clock. The Phantoms, who have been going without a huddle, now they go over, and DJ Parker takes advantage of this stoppage of the play. And now a timeout is actually called by the Phantoms. And they're saying, no, we didn't call a timeout. The coaches on the sidelines are holding their hands out as to say, we didn't call a timeout. We don't want a timeout.
Well, the official called a timeout.
Hey, Craig.
I thought he was going to, because Lewis was tying his shoe. I thought he was going to, it was an equipment thing.
Well, they take a timeout with 1:44 remaining. Let's talk a little bit, if we can, about the ramifications of this game and how that involves the playoffs as we go into this. And I want to thank Bob Killen for going to great lengths to put the detailed information together for us. Really appreciate it. The Kecoughtan coming in knows that they have to win at least one of their next 2 games, this game or the Woodside game, to even have a chance. Now, if they win both, they'll definitely be in the playoffs. So they are able.
Well, if they win both, they will be the co-champions.
Right. So I mean, they really control their own destiny. But they've got a tough road to go. This game is by far not over with, as Philip Brown uncharacteristically can't hold on to the football. That was that middle screen that they do, that little slant across there. See, the pass was a little high, but Brown certainly would have been able to make the catch normally. 2nd down and 10, 1:39 on the clock. Phoebus leads the Peninsula District and the Division 5 area with their power rating. I'll get to that in a minute, as Lewis
he missed it.
Did look like a hand got on the face mask, but no penalty flag.
That brings up what, 3rd down?
3rd down
right there. He definitely had the face mask, and the official right here didn't see it or didn't call it.
No, you can't get them all. 3rd down and 8. DJ Parker, play action fake. Now has some running room, but the defense is there. He throws across the field. This time I got the receiver right. That was a DB, but it was thrown behind him.
Thrown behind him. DB running one way and the ball went the other way. Couldn't get to it.
So the defense does the job, and now the Phantoms have to say, all right, do we want to gamble here with 4th down and 8? Ball at their 42-yard line.
I don't think you can. I think you got to punt it.
Well, Greg Narvid is on. And here's the replay. Watch DJ Parker. Now he's going to feel some pressure. Steps up from the pressure. But all this time, what you can't see in your screen is the defense downfield is moving along with him and covering the players that are there. And it's just a tough play to make for Parker as Narvid kicks it away. And the special team down nothing but gold-colored jerseys there to cover the ball. Jennison Jenkins touches it dead at the Kecoughtan 29-yard line. A 30-yard kick with no return. And we have 46 seconds remaining here until the halftime. But if Kecoughtan wins this game, and then if they were to lose to Woodside next week, then there would be all kinds of problems with the power ratings. Hampton, interestingly, this weekend, and as you watch this game, you will already know the result of that game. But Hampton, by playing Gloucester, will actually lose power points this weekend, even if they win, because they will lose, since Gloucester has not won any games, they don't get any points.
And you don't want to get one. That's what I'm saying. If he talks and you don't, they'll call the penalty on him. That's what happened over here.
We're going to listen in for a minute as Tommy Austin talks to his team.
If it ain't open, throw the son of a bitch away.
Is that right?
Hey, squeeze your splits down, shoot a shoe. Squeeze your splits down, shoot a shoe. Let's give him some time. We'll hold on the backside and let the guy roll from the backside. Get him.
On one, ready.
So we got a chance to get into the huddle. So the way that it is explained to us, and Bob Killen, who did a lot of research for this, as it goes, if Kecoughtan wins this game, then Hampton will be eliminated from the playoffs, if that is correct, regardless of what happens the rest of the season, because their power points will not allow them to get into the power points, even though they beat Kecoughtan. Wouldn't that be irony? Ed Ross, the intended receiver, but the ball overthrown as a pair of defenders back there, but the ball never really close to Ed Ross. Ross with that nice catch earlier for 36 yards, I believe it was. And this was a good-looking play if he just hadn't overthrown it. You saw him slip, McMillan, as he set his foot and got ready to throw the ball. That's a mushy part of the field there, the field who...
they got a holding call against the Warriors, too.
The field's been in great condition all year as we listen to referee Ficklin. Or did he turn his mic off this time? He had it open earlier. I think he's now in that mode where he opens it up and turns it off when he thinks he's doing the reverse. In any event, the holding call against the Warriors backs them up to their 29-yard line. 40 seconds remaining in the half. This is Backus, and Backus will just get about a yard to the 30. And again, the tough Phoebus defense in to make the stop. Manny Anderson, number 8, over there amongst others. And now a timeout called by the Phantoms with 2nd down and 10. They will burn their second timeout in an effort to force the Warriors, if they can hold them on downs, force them to kick the ball and to perhaps get it back.
Well, it's 3rd down, right? Not 2nd. The guy hadn't flipped the thing.
Oh, okay, it's 3rd down.
Is it 3rd?
Yeah, it's the scoreboard now is caught up with it. The scoreboard's correct. The side marker says 2nd down, so I'm not sure. Normally, the side marker would be the correct marker. Now they finally changed it. They finally changed it on the far sideline. Lewis, 119 yards on 11 carries, just 20 yards, 111 yards, excuse me, and just 20 yards on the night for Backus. So the Phantoms have shut down the offense, but they've hurt themselves with mistakes and turnovers. Now a stoppage of play as the officials are huddling. As you see, referee Ficklin and some of the other officials discussing what I don't know exactly. Maybe Ficklin will tell us. Looks like he will.
The officials on the field have consulted, and they did.
Are we able to hear that? Because we can't hear it here.
Seconds on the clock. Please reset the game clock to 26 seconds.
So, unfortunately, what we were thinking was the case is he's turning it off when he thinks he's turning it on. And one time because he doesn't look at it, it's a little switch, so a little toggle switch. So he's turning it off when he thinks he's turning it on. So we apologize for that. So we don't know what the explanation was. But in any event, it is 3rd down and 9.
And he tried to tell us.
Yeah. We can't hear you. If he thinks we can hear him, we can't. Last week, McCullough was able to tell us to put some time on the clock. Throw the switch.
Seconds on the clock so we can finish the half.
26 seconds. Okay.
They got the player.
Yeah, we can't. So that's what referee Fickle was trying to do. Unfortunately, he was not able to have the switch in the right position.
He can tell us, but he doesn't have the right switch combination.
So on 3rd down and 9, this is Backus, and Backus gets the 1st down. So that will wipe out the strategy of the Phantoms hoping to force a 4th down punt. Alan Backus on the delayed handoff, and he had a lot of runs.
Best run for tonight. He picked up half as many yards as he's had all night. Picked up a good 10.
Yep.
Yeah, 10 yards.
So a 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line, and the clock is restarted. The Warriors not in any hurry to do anything but get this half over with. They got to be very pleased with the way things are going. They'll stick to the ground. Backus will pick up about 4 as he gets to the 45-yard line. And that looks like it will be the final play of the half, and that will be the final play.
That nigga is fat.
So after one half, it is Ryan Curtis 6 and his teammates on the strength of a 30-yard and a 37-yard field goal. Kecoughtan 6 and Phoebus nothing at halftime. We'll return to Darling Stadium with the 3rd quarter of action after this brief timeout.
Yeah.
2, 9, 1, 5.
All right, back here at halftime, Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz, as the statistics at halftime show that the Phoebus Phantoms have really done everything positively except score, as they lead in first downs by the total of 10-4. But they only completed 1 of 6 passes, and they suffered 1 interception during those passes, 13 yards passing, 28 carries for 133 yards rushing. Lewis, the leader, with 111 yards. 50 yards on 5 penalties. Those have been bad penalties that the Phantoms have taken. They punted the ball twice, averaging 26 yards, and they had 15 minutes of time of possession to the 9 minutes by the Warriors. They did fumble the ball once, and they lost it. And they did have 2 returns on kicks for a total of 30 yards. For the Warriors, just 4 first downs. They had 2 of 5 passes for 47 yards, no interceptions. They rushed the ball 16 times for just 20 yards. And they were penalized 3 times for 20 yards, and they punted twice, averaging 28 yards per punt. And they had 9 minutes of possession versus the 15 by Phoebus. But those 2 turnovers, the difference in the ball game, and the return yards, 71 yards on the return of the interception by Jared Mayo that set up the first field goal, which was a 30-yard field goal. And then Ryan Curtis added a 37-yard field goal later on in the first half. And that's all the scoring we've had.
Well, Kecoughtan will get the ball to start the second half, Tim, but I have to also agree with you on the turnovers hurting them, but the penalties have really hurt the Phantoms tonight. They are getting penalties at inopportune times, and it's really affected their drives when they're moving the ball. And you and I have watched them move the ball and see how much yards they've got, and yet have nothing on the board. It's got to be disheartening to see what kind of adjustment the coaches have made at halftime. But I'll tell you what, this Kecoughtan crowd on this side is just ecstatic, and the kids coming out there playing with a lot of confidence right now. And when Big Mo gets on your side, it's hard to the other team to jump up and bite you. So Kecoughtan is all they have to do is play smart football and not shoot themselves in the foot, and they got a good chance coming out with a win.
Having said that, and I agree with you to a point, I really do feel that the Phantoms have the firepower to win this game. And I think that they need to get away from the mistakes, obviously, and they'll be able to do it. So the Warriors, even though they lead by the score of 6-0, that is about as precarious a lead as you might enjoy at this point. Now,
well, I agree with you, Tim, and I don't say that Phoebus cannot win this game. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying right now the momentum is definitely in the Warrior side of the field.
Absolutely. I'd rather be up 6-0 than behind by 6-0.
Absolutely.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is it ain't over yet.
It ain't over. You're right. We got 24 minutes.
24 minutes, and this is a very important game with a lot of ramifications, because if Kecoughtan wins, and if the very complicated PowerPoint system is accurate the way we've interpreted it, this could eliminate Hampton from the playoffs with a Kecoughtan victory. But having said that, there's a lot of factors, so we won't want to jump to that conclusion. These Warriors are going to get pretty good field position on a nice return by Dante Edwards, who not only has played well on defense, but also a good job on offense as well. And watch, as you will, the replay as it's fielded on the 16-yard line and brought out to the 33. An 18-yard return officially. So the Warriors will look to control the ball if they can here. They set trip receivers to the right side and give to Backus on the left side, and the Phantoms have nothing to do with those trips.
Well, when you're running towards Quincy McWright, big number 89, and number 12 for the Phantoms, Travis Richmond, they, that's not an easy 2 defensive ends to run against. I think Travis, I think he plays one of the linebackers. He plays outside linebacker on his right side.
No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. Second half just underway. Kecoughtan 6 and Phoebus nothing. This is Alan Backus, and Backus slanting on the right side, gets good yardage this time out close to the 40-yard line, so he'll pick up about 6 yards on the play. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 4. The one thing, if you're the Phantoms, if you were down in this game by, say, 2 touchdowns or more, you'd have a real serious problem, because this is not a team built for scoring a lot of points to come back against a good defense. Now, they score a lot of points, so I don't want to contradict myself, because they do, in fact, average 40 points a game. But they get that kind of yardage by ground control and being in control of the ball.
Well, and you're absolutely right, Tim. They'll run a lot of time off the clock while they score. They're not a big play scoring team. They will grind it out and just workmanlike ethic out there. They'll just boom, 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 and just run it down your throat.
It is 4th down and about 4. So Ryan Curtis into the wind will be punting. 10 men on the line for the Phantoms. They are coming, but again, Curtis does a good job to get it away. Not a long kick, but considering everything, it'll be acceptable as it's stopped dead at the 39-yard line, downed by Darnell Harrison. Just a 22-yard punt.
Well, and he's kicking away from it. He's not kicking it to anybody back there. He's making the ball bounce on the ground and say, listen, I'm going to kick it, get it out of the backfield, but I'm not going to let you run it.
Well, and what he is always doing is he's kicking into a pretty substantial wind. So that is a factor in the 3rd quarter. This is Lewis, Elan Lewis, with over 1,000 yards on the regular season, will pick up about 4.5, almost 5 on that play, as he is out close to the 44-yard line. Lewis has 111 yards tonight. He is outgained his counterpart Backus. This was touted in the Daily Press today as the battle of the number 1 and number 2 rushers on the Peninsula District. Just 40 yards on 14 carries in the ball game for Backus, while Lewis with 111 yards at halftime. And he's added some more here.
Flag down. A flag down. Come down, Tim. You look at the defense at Kecoughtan. They're putting 7 people up on that line of scrimmage, and the outside backers and everybody are up close, so they got almost 9 people within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage.
And we've got a Phoebus Phantom shaken up on the plays. I can't quite make out.
Is that Lewis?
Yeah, it's Elan Lewis. So that would be a serious blow to the Phantoms if he was unable to
On
continue.
The play, there was
holding penalty against the
offense.
Phantoms again.
So being forced,
So
10 yards
here.
and
The most
replay
serious
second
of
down.
the 2 occurrences, quite frankly, would be the loss of Lewis if you weren't able to continue. But nothing will happen of any importance until he is taken care of, and you see him being taken care of or administered to. And I only hope that it was a matter of perhaps the wind getting knocked out of him, because you sure don't want to see this young man have a leg injury or a knee injury. That would be devastating.
Well, he's coming up. That's a good sign.
That's a real good sign, is that he's not limping. So that's the best news for the Phantoms all night. He is kind of groggy, it appears. He might have taken a hard hit, and this Kecoughtan defense will hurt you. Not illegally and not intentionally, but they'll hurt you with the way they play football. They're a tough, hard-nosed defensive squad. Tommy Austin's just done an outstanding job over at Kecoughtan this year.
And he'll be the first one to tell you that Dan Thompson, defensive coordinator, is the one that does the defense.
This is the option from Parker, and Parker, without his leading rusher in the backfield, will keep the ball and get back out to about the 44-yard line. So that's where they were prior to the holding call.
Well, that brings up a 3rd down, but it was either pitch it to Brown or keep it, and he decided to keep it and picked up real positive yards.
You know, we talked about, or I mentioned at least, the versatility and the added dimension of having some extra running backs on this Phoebus team. They're going to be called upon now, because with Lewis out of the lineup, and he is standing on the far sideline, and a timeout has been called by the Phantoms. But Lewis, if he doesn't come back in the game, then Boone and Brown are going to have to pick it up.
Yeah, they really are. Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling. Give them a call at 825-1416 and 850-5564. Mark and Kenny, they're on call 24 hours a day. And, of course, also the second half is brought to you by Park Lawnwood Funeral Home, where Nancy Staten is the manager. Give them a call at 827-4670.
Lest I should forget one other addition to the backfield, and Bob Killen reminded me of it while you were reading that information. Xavier Adibi could also be called upon, as he was last year. If you recall, in the championship game up in Richmond, he did a tremendous job carrying the ball. This was before Lewis really had emerged. Lewis was just a sophomore.
Well, he had Travis McKnight last year, and Lewis did dress out for that game. And
McWright.
But Travis McWright is the young man that was the workhorse last year.
Right. Third down. Parker on play action, and he completes this one. This is a first down at the 40-yard line.
That's Richmond, I believe.
Yes, Travis Richmond, who we've seen in earlier games, earlier in the season, come up with some big catches. This time he makes a big catch for a first down. Watch the replay. Good
nice
play action.
Protection, Tim.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if I'm allowed to listen in on the far sideline, Bill D is saying, guys, if you want to be undefeated and you want to repeat as state champions, you got to start playing like it. And now they're tightening the belt a little bit as they know they're up against it with this tough Kecoughtan team. And there you see Backus doing a good job of stopping DJ Parker, but Parker picks up good yardage. Watch this replay. Did a good job on the option. Parker got good yardage to the 32-yard line. It brings up second down and just 2 after 8 yards. Phantoms now trailing by 6 on the move. Second down and a pair. This is Brown in the backfield to replace Elan Lewis. And this is where that depth may come in and really help you out.
And they can bring in Maurice Boone in the backfield, and they can also bring in Manny Anderson.
And they can also bring in number 38, Elan Lewis, who just came back off the sideline.
So now that's good news if you're a fan. And
not so great if you're a Kecoughtan fan. This young man has
fan. That's hard to say.
Phantom fan. That's the fan you can't find. On the option, the pitch to Lewis, and Lewis tries to get the corner. Late flag comes down.
Another holding.
It might be, is in that area where you might expect to see it. A couple of the big linemen and one of the Warrior linemen exhorting the official. Here's the replay. The pitch. You won't see the hold, but you'll see the flag fly through the air. Yep, saw that.
He do that to you every time.
I saw who it was, but I we make a
on the play,
pointing out who it was.
Holding.
Hold against the Phantoms, so they continue to hurt themselves. When they've got a nice gain on the play of almost 8 yards, it's wiped out. So you lose the 8 you gained and add 10 to it.
That hurts.
That hurts big time. 34-yard line is where they'll mark it.
Philip Brown's back in for Lewis. He's at the tailback spot.
Manny Anderson lines up in the slot to the right side. And this is Brown. And Brown will carry the ball to the 30-yard line, so that's a gain of 4. So after that first down penalty, and that was a costly penalty. That was an 18-yard penalty when you take away what they would have gained versus what they ultimately were taking. And this is Xavier Adibi shaken up on the play. So the Phantoms now starting to get some of the effects of that hard hitting by the Warriors, as Adibi is favoring what appears to be his right shoulder. And I won't speculate what the problem is, but you can see he was very frustrated as you see him coming off the field. And the loss of this young man, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but really more importantly on the defensive side of the ball, is a huge factor for the Phantoms.
It sure is. And now we got Lewis come back in. He will go into that fullback spot with Brown at the tailback.
Now I don't want to speculate, and hopefully Adibi just got shaken up or perhaps suffered a stinger. But these are important players that we're talking about. This is the option. This is Brown, Philip Brown with good speed. And he is tripped up on a nice open field tackle by Alan Backus and a late flag down. So a late penalty flag. Let's see how this one goes. If this is a a call against the Phantoms, this would be almost devastating. But let's see how they call this. I'm not sure what it is. See the officials conversing. It's going to be, would not be enough for a first down, but let's see what the penalty call is.
After the play was over, there was a dead ball personal foul against the defense.
Kecoughtan. So this is a very, very important call because it was going to be third down and about 5, but now
there'll be a first down.
Hold it. We're going to go half the distance. There'll be a 1st and 10.
All right, so we got the mic open for good. You can still hear that breeze, but it'll be half the distance to the goal line. Mark it right around the 11-yard line. It's first down.
Just over the 11, Tim, and it's very possible they could probably get a first down without scoring. We got timeout called by the Warriors.
Yep. So a lot of strategizing going on right now.
Yeah, let's not forget about our corporate sponsors. And Hampton Chevrolet, located at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. Give them a call, 838-5450. Like a rock.
What was that number again?
838-5450.
Oh, okay.
You know I got that right. I got it written right here. I can read that if nothing else. And, of course, Zooms with 14 convenient Peninsula locations. Look, I'll spit that out there. I need some Beantown coffee.
You can't order those things through the mail. You got to go in and have them fitted.
Oh, you do? Yeah. Oh, that's why they don't fit the wood.
Beantown coffee sounds real good right now. All right, so the Phantoms catch a break. 1st and 10 at the 11. This is Philip Brown, and Brown is down to the 5.
And that was that elephant formation with 2 blockers right in front of him.
Watch this movement now. This offensive line making a good hole there for Philip Brown, and this is a good defensive line. So when you get that kind of success, you're doing a good job.
All right, now Philip Brown comes out, Anderson comes in, and that puts Adibi is back in there also.
Yes, he is. Adibi, Boone, and Anderson. And this is Adibi. The big guy gets the ball to the 4. Remember, they can get a first down without scoring. It was 1st and 10 at the 11. Watch this replay from the ground level. You'll see Adibi as he struggles to get yardage. He is stopped at the 4. So it's 3rd down and 3.
Well, I tell you, Kecoughtan, their front on that defense is just doing a tremendous job. And where Phoebus has had success has been going wide.
And now an official's stoppage. And there's some people near the end zone that the officials need to get away from the field, the camera people.
Well, let's talk about the
not our camera people, I should say.
Corey D. Davis and Corey C. Davis are 2 tackles. John McDonald and Wilson Banks are the ends. And then you got Tillery and Bilea, Mayo and Edwards as your linebackers.
Big 3rd down and 3. And we've got whistles before the snap of the ball?
Yeah. And if they're going to have motion against the Phantoms, is that what they're going to call?
Prior to the snap, there was a false start against the offense.
I guess he still got his mic.
5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Well, we heard him. Are we picking him up, guys in the truck? Okay. Gotcha. Appreciate that. So we're still having some problems getting referee Ficklin with the right switch. 3rd down. Oh, I see. Parker has some time, but is looking for the end zone. Got a man. Touchdown.
Whoa, where'd he come from?
Darnell Allen. Parker had all day to find someone, but he was having difficulty, and finally Darnell Allen out of nowhere came right across the middle of the end zone, and Parker nailed him with a perfect pass for the touchdown.
Very important point after.
What was the yard line? 9?
A 9-yard pass. Extra point try is up, and it is good. So DJ Parker with all kinds of time, but no one open. And then all of a sudden, as if he just came out of the blue, Darnell Allen appeared in the middle of the end zone.
Well, what may have happened, Tim, is everybody went to the right, and he stopped and went back to the left, and nobody defensively went with him. And Parker, great job of rolling out and buying himself some time to pass the ball. Found the open Darnell in the end zone. Darnell Allen, nice catch, nice pass, good execution.
You know, and it's a natural tendency for receivers when they are not open to just stop their route and just to kind of stand there. Well, I went my 10 yards or whatever I was supposed to do, but Allen kept running, and he kept finding some way to get open. And DJ Parker, you know, we say this is not a passing team, and Parker's statistics bear that out. They're not. But that was a great job of Parker under real stress and pressure, finding the open man. This kick with the wind goes into the end zone and will not be returned. As most of you watching know, in high school football, you cannot return a ball that goes into the end zone on either a kickoff or a punt.
Well, number 2 for the Phantoms, Dante Edwards, came up. He thought he was going to be able to catch it, and then all of a sudden that thing just went right over his head.
2 for the Warriors. I did that too. I did that with a DB. You said number 2, Dante Edwards of the Phantoms, but he was actually with the Warriors.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a replay of that so I can hear it? Maybe we can
do that.
Face that out or get Scotty to.
If we could edit out all the mistakes I've made, we wouldn't have any audio. All right, a first 3-minute game.
And that would be the opening, and that would be it, right?
Well, I'm not even sure about the opening. 20-yard line is where the Warriors will start after having led this entire game. Now Backus. Let's see how the Big Mo switches here and see if momentum switches over to the Phantom side. Alan Backus picks up yardage to about almost to the 24-yard line. And there you see Bob Killen and Mike Hauser, our 2 ace statisticians.
Those are the ones with the 2 wild hats, right?
Right there. Yeah, you guys were on. Could have tipped your hats. Second down and about 6 for the Warriors. 4:35 left in the third quarter. Plenty of time. McMillan, who's done a great job coming in to start this game. Flag comes from way in the backfield. The back judge threw that flag about 20 yards. He's probably got an arm on him.
And that's usually a holding call, but I'm surprised he's the one to call that. Oh, there's the hold.
So the Warriors, let's just let referee tell us.
There was holding.
So holding is the call.
And that'll be a 10-yarder from that point.
Yeah, that's a big penalty because
should take it down to about the 11, right?
I'll wait till they spot it. I've lost track of where the foul occurred, but that's exactly correct.
Well, the flag is laying at the 21.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that was the actual spot.
Well, yeah, because he threw it, went to the 19. He went, picked it up, brought it back to the 21. So I'm sure that's where he was saying the hold was committed.
So all of a sudden now, after the Warriors had played really a very well-played game, not committing the penalties, crucial penalties, find themselves in a problem. Ed Ross, the tight end at the 30-yard line, very close to the first down, depending on the spot. Looks like it'll be enough for the first down.
He had to get to the 30.
Sure,
he's across it.
Started at the 20, so he's got the first down. They spotted the 31. Watch this, over the shoulder into the hands of Ed Ross, his second big grab of the night. Had a 36-yarder earlier, if memory serves me correctly. Now McMillan wanting to throw again. Instead decides to run and another flag down.
And he ran basically into his own man trying to cut back.
And another penalty flag down in the area that you might suspect a hold. Watch McMillan as he cut back and then ran into his own man, and a big own man at that. Guy he ran into is McDonald, 6'3", 220. And Lachey McMillan, as the holding call goes against. So all of a sudden the Warriors just really starting to look like the old Warriors, not the current Warriors, as this is what Tommy Austin's team did so often last year, is they continued to hurt themselves with ill-timed penalties.
Holding against the offense.
McDonald,
replay first down,
the
10-yard
recipient
penalty.
of the Zoom Eagle Award for the Warriors, and for the Phantoms is Jason Bowles.
That's that award for the academic prowess.
Academic excellence.
So the Warriors now have a first down, but it's 1st and 22. Need to get all the way out to the 41-yard line, so they've really built themselves a problem. Out of the shotgun for the first time tonight, McMillan wants to throw and completes the pass to Wilson Banks. The Warriors are saying yes, the Phantoms are saying no catch, and the officials are the only ones' opinion who counts, and they're kind of looking at each other. The officials still haven't.
It's like neither one of them wanted to make a call.
No, they're going to huddle now and see what the decision is. Here's the replay, and he got it.
And it can't be a first down.
No, it's not a first down.
Well, he's.
They got excited. No, it's not a first down, but it is only second down after that big gain. It'll be second down and about 3.5, almost 4. Now McMillan feeling the pressure, throws, and it is picked off. DJ Parker underthrown, and he'll score. DJ Parker had one he had picked off, and now he returns the favor. A late flag for some extracurricular activity, but I think they'll be dead ball fouls. We'll wait and see. We'll let them unravel this. There was some extra contact, and I have no idea who precipitated it, but flags flew. But apparently, they'll be after the play, which is a touchdown by DJ Parker. Trying to pick up where that ball was intercepted. That's what I'm trying to.
It looked like about the 45.
It was in that. I thought it was more like the 35, but we'll get a chance perhaps to see that on the replay. And I'm not sure. We'll watch and see if we can pick it up. The ball is picked off at the 35-yard line. Is where his feet came down, and he just ran like the wind. 35-yard interception by DJ Parker. Question is, will it stand?
Yeah.
We had, on the run back of the interception, we had a personal foul against Kecoughtan. That's going to be declined. After the touchdown was scored, we have a personal foul against Phoebus. We'll put it on the extra point.
All right, well, we appreciate the referee Ficklin sorting that out for us. So what has happened is there was a foul while the play was going on, and that's declined. The personal foul after the touchdown, because if they took that other penalty, if Phoebus accepted the penalty, it would negate the touchdown.
Right, yeah, you don't do that.
You're not going to take the touchdown off, but then you suffer the consequences of a 15-yard personal foul penalty, so it makes the extra point almost like a field goal. .35. He intercepted. He came down on the 35-yard line.
I thought it was closer to the 40. But
well, we'll see if we can watch it again.
Because I was looking at the mark in the middle of the field, the X's in the in the center of the field. You'll see that.
See if we can get Scotty to run the interception or whomever one more time for us, so we can. Okay, here it is. There's the 40. There's the 50. That's the 50.
That's a 50-yard line.
You're right, 50. You're absolutely right. I was looking at it the other way.
I thought it was around the 45. So.
That's a 50-yard interception. So they had a 15-yard personal foul call after the play, after the touchdown was scored, so that's why they've assessed the 15-yard penalty on the PAT. So it's a 36-yard PAT is what it boils down to. And this is serious stuff.
Well, sure is.
Because this is, if they don't get this, then there's a 6-point ballgame. It's long enough, but it's no good.
just off to the
Wide to the right. Boy, he got a lot of leg in it. So it's only 13 to 6.
was good. The 36-yard point after attempt was not.
Well, why we don't have the score on the
It's up
board?
there
There we
now.
go.
13 to 6.
So it's a 7-point.
Kecoughtan 6.
7 point. You said 6 point. That's 7 points, right? 7 to 6.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 7.
But if it would have been the other way, they'd have had to go
Yeah.
for 2.
What I'm saying is a touchdown and an extra point ties the game.
Yeah.
Whereas if they had made the extra point, it would have had to be a 2-point conversion if Kecoughtan were to get a touchdown. But we got more time left on the clock to worry about than that. 2:42 is the time remaining in the third quarter. So a lot of football left.
Absolutely.
And this game has had some strange moments, but DJ Parker gets a revenge factor here as he was picked off earlier.
Well, he throws a touchdown pass and he runs an interception in for a touchdown. That,
Yep.
you know, Parker is just doing a great job tonight.
He was picked off earlier for a 71-yard interception return that led to the first field goal by the Warriors. So he gets his revenge here with a pick of 50 yards for the interception. This is Dante Edwards, and Edwards is out across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. So Edwards running hard. And he's slow to get up, but he's all right. And one of the Phantoms is not getting up
Yeah,
yet.
that looks like Big Quest King, number 77.
He's got a cramp, it would appear. So now an official stoppage as they try to work the cramp out. But again, that's not a good thing for the players to do themselves until they make sure that's what it is. I'm sure he knows what it is, but
No, that isn't Quest King. That comes in Quest.
I was
don't know who
thinking
is.
that's Quincy McWright. That's or Matt Wright, excuse me, 87.
Oh, 87.
Yeah, you're thinking Quest, which is 77.
Well, I saw the 7. I thought
Yeah.
it was, yeah. Matt right there, he's just a freshman.
Pretty sure that's 87. I'm not. Wouldn't want to be betting the house on it, but
Well, I don't want you to bet the house on anything. Donna would
Okay.
not appreciate that.
she would. 2:34 left here in the third. And you see the young man being attended to. A very chilly evening here, so certainly you can understand how these players might cramp up a little bit. And there you see Matt Wright. So the big freshman at 6'2", 190, and this is going to be a great addition to the Phoebus teams for the next couple of years, as he's interestingly not trying to walk on that. If it is a cramp, you'd want to
Well,
try
you
and
see,
walk on.
when he tries to
Yeah.
walk, it's like he's got a stiff leg.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Warriors from their 27-yard line. Out of the shotgun, McMillan gives to Backus, and Backus fumbled the football. Let's see who got it. No indication yet. The Warriors
And the Phantoms,
got it. The Warriors
Big
turned the ball over.
77, Quest King, Tim.
So that's a turnover, the second turnover. So that evens up the turnovers. So McMillan having difficulty with the exchange to Backus, and the ball came loose. And Quest King recovered it at the 22-yard line. So the Phantoms in business now, having just scored a moment ago. This is Elan Lewis, and Lewis is driven to the ground as he got to the 17-yard line.
And that looked like our buddy number 10, Mayo again.
Mayo, I mean, that young man just really knows how to hit. So gain of 5 on the play, 2nd down and 5 as we hit the 2-minute mark in the third quarter. 13-6 in favor of the Phantoms as they have scored twice here in the third quarter. Trailed 6-0 at halftime, but they've come back to take the lead. This is Lewis, and Lewis will be close to the 15-yard line, so he'll pick up about 3. And it'll bring up 3rd down and a long 2, almost 3.
Well, there is some awesome hitting going on out there tonight. As you watch the replay, these runners are earning every bit of yardage they pick up tonight.
24 carries, 122 yards on the night for Elan Lewis. Right at his per game average. This is Xavier Adibi, a late flag thrown into the pile. He didn't get the first down according to our vantage point, but I've been wrong more often than right tonight on that count. But it appeared that he's short of the first down, but a penalty flag thrown into the pile, so that could have been anything from holding to face mask. We won't even know at this point till we hear.
Well, it looks like the Phantoms are moving backwards. And that's exactly what it is. A lot of holding tonight.
10-yard penalty, repeat third down.
We have holding on Phoebus.
So they move the ball back to the 24-yard line.
So it's third and
12. There's a still photo of ESPN Ron Bateman. This is Parker. Parker throws, got a man. Oh, and Brown just ran before he put it away. He was so wide open.
And he had the first down.
He started to run before he caught the ball, and no one feels worse about it than he does, I promise you that. Throws the gloves onto the sideline as to say, those gloves did me in. So now it brings up 4th and 12, so he was standing right at the first down marker. 9 for 85, that's the number of penalties against the Phantoms tonight.
Well, they have really had some penalties tonight. It's just been unbelievable.
Warriors penalized 5 times for 42 yards, but almost twice as many penalties against the Phantoms. I'm sorry, guys in the truck, if we're talking over the referees, because we can't tell when he's speaking. So if you can open his mic up when he is explaining something, we could live with the noise. No, Andy.
Hey, and listen, Andy, come up here. He ain't going to get any more donuts.
No donuts, no
talking
peanuts.
Like that.
No.
Boy, he just cutting his own throat. No more nuts.
Thought that might be the point of view.
Oh, okay.
I understand Tampa Bay has got an automatic win this week. They're taking on Minnesota.
Well, they got lucky against the Bears, didn't they?
Yeah, all right. So we're going to see now with the wind if this is Chris Schwartz, Chris Schwartz. Going to try a field goal, and it's not going to make it quite long enough. So the long kicker
With 36 seconds left in the third quarter.
for the Warriors, for the Phantoms rather.
Yeah, and Tim, turnover didn't hurt the Warriors that time.
Kecoughtan will take over on down.
Just never got it up in the air.
Warriors.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you for the audio. So the touchback gives the ball back to the Warriors at the 20. 36 seconds remaining in the third quarter. This game had been moving very rapidly. This third quarter has taken as long as the first half took to play. Lots of penalties, lots of stoppages of play. Alan Backus gets the call. Okay. Clock moving with 20 seconds remaining. That might have been the last play of the third quarter if the Warriors choose to let it be. And they might just do that with the wind in their face. Quite frankly, I'd let the clock run out. It looks like they'll hustle up to the line. They might get a playoff. But according to...
No, they're not going to.
No, they're not going to. And that probably came in from the sideline and said, we don't have to, don't do it. So for the fourth quarter, the Warriors will have the wind at their back. And remember, the difference in this game is just 7 points because of the missed extra point try after a personal foul was assessed against the Phantoms on the interception return by DJ Parker. So let's go down to the sideline right now as Ron Baton has some special guests for us here at the end of the third quarter.
Hey, we're the cheerleaders from Kecoughtan. Go Warriors! Go Warriors! Go Warriors! All right!
I'd do that, and I wouldn't be able to walk for a year.
Nor would any of the young ladies.
Well, first of all, I couldn't get my foot up with my hands to hold it, but if I ever did, that would be all she wrote. You could say goodbye to just about anything.
Well, I would tell the fans that this is our final regular season game. At least that's the way it is as of this moment. And we will see the Peninsula District playoffs begin not the 9th of November, but they'll begin on the 16th of November. And a lot of Hampton-based teams very much in the thick of the things, obviously, with Kecoughtan, Hampton, and Phoebus.
Legal procedure against Kecoughtan will back them up 5 yards.
So we're not sure. The only question at this point is who will be seeded how, and if all three Hampton teams in contention will be seeded.
And it's so much speculation now because it depends on what's going to happen, you know. Next week you'll have a much clearer picture.
Well, yeah, after this weekend it'll be he's a lot of help, isn't he? The Warriors, nowhere. You know, after the season's over, we'll have a better feeling for it, right?
Well, you know, after this week. Killen told me that he will be able to predict end of next week who's going to be where. Now, Killen told me, and I believe when Bob Killen talks to me.
You guys are the king of obvious.
Hey, don't mess with my guru down there. Now, that was hard to hear. That's easy for him to say. While we have this timeout, again, I want to thank Zooms because they are awarding the senior player on each one of the teams this year who has demonstrated academic excellence. These players will be awarded plaques at the school board meeting after the season. We'd like to thank David Allen and Zooms for their continued support of WHCS and our student athletes. Also, Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling, Mark and Kenny, they're on call 24 hours a day. Emergency service, $45. Free estimates on all new installations. Give them a call, 825-1416 or 850-5564. And in part by Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home, conveniently located at Hampton Center Parkway and North Armstead Avenue. For a tour of the facility, stop by or give them a call at 827-4670. Nancy Staten is the manager.
All right, third down and about 16. And Backus gets the call on a conservative play. Don't want to make any mistakes.
Oh, not down at this end. No.
Not with almost the entire fourth quarter time on the clock. So you've got plenty of time. You don't want to take any gambles. And now the Warriors with the wind to their back. Ryan Curtis will be standing inside his 5-yard line.
Let's see if again he kicks it away from, who is that, Brown back?
Yes, Philip Brown back deep. 10 men on the line for the Phantoms. They want to put pressure on him. Gets a high snap, and they do get some pressure, but he gets a beautiful kick away. Brown will watch it bounce, and then he'll field it at the 48, 49-yard line. Made some, oh, come on. That's ridiculous. Contact out of bounds, but that was, he couldn't stop his momentum.
Philip Brown picks up the ball at the 48.
That's a flag thrown against the Warriors for a hit out of bounds. I don't know if you'll see this or not. Brown picks this up, and here he is, and he runs into a guy on the out of bounds. It wasn't even on the field of play. So they've got to wipe that one off. The guy wasn't even in the play. He was standing on the sideline. Give me a break.
Hampton Chevrolet Jeep Mazda is one of our corporate sponsors, located at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard. Give them a call, 838-5450.
If that's in fact the play, I don't know that to be absolutely true, but it appeared that the guy he ran into.
After the punt went out of bounds, there was a dead ball personal foul against the receiving team.
It was against the Phoebus team.
This has got to be the biggest joke I've ever seen on that call. That's just unbelievable.
Can we see that again? I'm going to reserve any judgment. I thought it was being called against Kecoughtan. They called it against Brown for running into the Kecoughtan player. Holy smokes.
I mean, you're supposed to, if you're on that out of bounds, you're supposed to get out of the way.
First and 10
Watch the
Phoebus.
replay. You be the judge at home. You're going to see what happens here. Brown is going to step out of bounds and incidentally run into a Kecoughtan player. I thought they were calling it against the Kecoughtan player at first, which was ludicrous because he was on the sideline. It wasn't even
And that's
in the
just
field of
as
play.
ludicrous, isn't
And
it?
that's just as bad a call because Brown ran into him. Now, we shouldn't be critical of the officials, and they make mistakes just like anyone else, but that appeared to be a really bad call. Well, but that's, and it could have been something that was said, but it was indicated to be a personal foul, so I'm assuming that it was
Not
some
unsportsmanlike conduct.
No, it wasn't unsportsmanlike. But, and give the benefit of the doubt to the officials. They're closer to the play than we are. So, but it appeared to be a call that should have been a no call.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out if he called it on Brown, it was bad call.
He didn't.
I mean,
Referee
the
Ficklen
player
say it
didn't
was,
try to get out of bounds, Ray. Brown was running out of bounds. Well, how can he stop?
No, that it should have been a no call. DJ Parker almost broke loose.
And that was a busted play, Tim. I think he dropped the ball, picked it up, and went.
How many times have we seen Alan Backus make big plays? Last week against Hampton, time after time, and that's Backus again, who got a hand on and tripped up DJ Parker, preventing what could have been Parker's third touchdown of the night. So the Phantoms get a first down at the Kecoughtan 46-yard line. This is Philip Brown, and Brown picks up 5 down to the 41-yard line. So he, again, adding that depth to the backfield.
Well, I hope he doesn't run into anybody.
At least no one on the sideline.
Yeah.
Now, that was Bob. I just want to make sure. I get accused of being Bob, and Bob calls Tim, but that was
Yeah,
Bob.
that was Bob Killen. Hey, Bob Killen tells me to say these things, and I can't help it.
Well, I got to tell you, I apologize for being critical of the officials if I was, and I clearly thought that was a bad call. But they are humans, and they don't get them all right. They get most of them right. But every now and then, you got to wonder what happened.
I wonder if they're watching the same play as
that's
we do.
Bob. That's Bob Killen again. I want you.
Yeah, and you know, but we get to see it again and again.
You're keeping stats here. You tell me who carried the ball.
That was a DB.
That was a DB. That was number 5, Xavier. And they got the big guys in the backfield now. Third down and about 3. This is Philip Brown, and Brown has tripped up a flag.
Flag
down.
again. They may have a face mask that time.
Flag down right at the point of the tackle. It will be 4th down and a yard if it's not against the Warriors.
Well, I tell you, they're having long conferences out there, getting everything together. Either that or they're asking where they're going after the game. But they're getting it right.
On the play, there was a personal foul, illegal helmet contact against the defense, 15-yard penalty.
So it wasn't a face mask, but it was illegal helmet contact. So we saw a little bit of that in the NFL this past week.
Well, they fine them big bucks, don't
Yeah,
they?
oh yeah, 75 grand. Yeah, that's a big fine, all right. So it was contact by the opposing team's helmet was the explanation from referee Ficklen. So that personal foul moves the chains and gives the Warriors, excuse me, the Phantoms rather, a first down at the 21-yard line. 8:21 and the clock moving here in the 4th quarter. And the Warriors defense stacks this play up at the
there
line of
was
scrimmage.
no hole there. There was nowhere to go.
So Brown, the ball carrier. Brown's gotten a lot more carries here now that Lewis was shaken up in the 3rd quarter. Brown in there right now. And he is in the backfield with a DB. Brown 8 carries for 24 yards tonight. And the pitch comes to Brown. He fumbles it, but again, a fortuitous hop as it came right back to him, and he got to the 19-yard line. So instead of losing yardage, he actually gained some yardage, but another penalty flag down.
And Backus making the
watch this hop. I mean, you don't get
that's what happened with Backus.
It just doesn't happen that way all the time. That's why they put 2 points on the ball.
Another holding. I don't know how many holding calls have been called tonight. And there's a good shot of Mike Hauser and Bob Killen. Mike Hauser is the one who was pointing and showing Killen where to look, where the field was.
Raise your hand, Bob.
On the play, there was holding against the offense. Replay second down, 10-yard penalty.
Well, so much for a rapidly moving football game.
I tell you, that first half went zoom, and this second half is snail would beat us.
Well, the third quarter took as long as the first half, and now the fourth quarter is taking as long as the third quarter, so you do the math. Lots of penalties, lots of mistakes. Pitch to Brown. Brown will not get back to the line of scrimmage.
You got to like that defense. You got to like that defense.
Mayo and Backus. Wilson Banks over there as well. So 2-yard loss on the play. 3rd down and 24. That's what those penalties will do to you. And then some good defense on top of that. Watch this replay. This is from the ground level. The pitch goes to Brown, and Brown is wrapped up. Wilson Banks, one of the first ones there. 3rd down and 24. Phoebus using a lot of time. Precariously close to getting a delayed call. In motion is Brown. And they don't get it off. They just missed getting the play off. If they hadn't sent him in motion and snapped the ball before then, they might have gotten it away. But now it's going to be 3rd and 29.
Offense still 3rd.
It just took them too long to get the play in, and then once they got it in, it was a slow developing play. He took a long time count, man in motion. You called it right, Tim. That was had they just snapped the ball, it'd been okay. But that wasn't the play it was called.
So the ball is at the 40. They need to go all the way to the 11-yard line.
We may have a quick kick here.
And that's exactly what we're going to have. DJ Parker with the quick kick. Doesn't get the roll he'd hoped to get, although he gets a bit of a roll.
End up down about the 13.
Yeah, he'd like to have seen it inside the 5, but he'll settle for that. A field position game with these number 1 and number 2 defenses on the peninsula. Phoebus's defense number 2, allowing just 177 yards per game, and they only allowed a little less than 3 points a game on defense, so they've already doubled that output by allowing 2 field goals. 6:21, almost halfway through the fourth quarter. A 7-point ball game. The Warriors trailing by a touchdown and a PAT.
Well, they haven't been able to run the ball.
McMillan throws, completes the pass, out of bounds at about the 18-yard line, and the grab made by
Harrison.
Harrison, yeah, he's been very effective tonight on both sides of the ball. See if we can pick this up, and there you go, right on top of the sideline camera. That Ron Fearless ESPN Baton.
Fearless. Did you see how big his eyes got?
Yes. 18-yard line is where they mark the forward progress. Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5. Out of the shotgun, McMillan. And the ball tipped incomplete as he got creamed just as he let it go.
That was a DB in number, it was at 82. Stephen Friday, young man that has really come along big for the Phantoms.
So the incomplete pass makes it 3rd and 5 with 6:11 to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, Friday on this Friday hit the ball.
Yes, sir. This game videotaped on the 1st of November, 2002. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, Bob Killen, Mike Hauser, and the 46 crew here at Darling Stadium as McMillan is sacked all the way back to the 8-yard line.
McWright, 89, and who was the one that hit him
And
first?
now a late flag. Just what we needed was another late flag.
21 was the other young man in there. That was Jenkins.
And a delay of game call against the Warriors, apparently for the frustration on McMillan's part of throwing the football after the play was dead.
After the play was over, there was a dead ball personal foul, delay a game against the offense, preventing the ball from becoming alive, penalized half the distance, 4.5 yards, half the distance to the 4.5, fourth down.
On the 4.5-yard line. We got that and everything. I'll tell you, I appreciate him. He's really explaining everything tonight.
So Curtis now, with the wind to his back, will be standing deep in his own end zone. And the Phantoms now will probably put on the return, although I feel they'll bring some pressure. Curtis gets away. Spiraling kick fielded by Brown at the 38-yard line, reversing his field, trying to pick up some blockers. And he's rapidly in trouble as he loses 12 yards on the return. He fielded at the 38 and ended up at midfield, but an effort on his part to get some extra yardage.
It looked like he was going to get a good block, and then for some reason it didn't get it.
So a negative.
Right there.
Yep.
Just never got that block.
And then he got into that muddy area and lost his footing when he tried to reverse his field.
Well, that's tremendous for the Warriors from the 4.5-yard line to now give the ball up but at midfield.
A 34-yard kick, but a negative 12 return was as important as the punt. Now if you're the Phantoms, all you want to do is get on the ball, hold on to the ball, and wind out that clock. 5:28, and the clock is moving here in the fourth quarter. Now a timeout called by the officials. Apparently a shoe. Brown lost his shoe on the play. You see the replay of the carry by Brown. I'm not sure Elan Lewis is doing all that well because he's still on the far sideline. He's seen very limited action here in the fourth quarter, if any. And Brown has come on to do the bulk of the running, he and Adibi.
And I see now he's got Manny Anderson back in there. So it's Anderson, Adibi, and Brown in the backfield behind Parker. And
occasionally Maurice Boone. But for the most part, it's been Brown doing the ball carrying here in the fourth quarter. So little or no gain on that play. Second down, and let's call it 10. And this is Brown, and Brown has 9 yards down to the 41-yard line.
That was a nice run by Brown that time. He found a nice crease. They're in that elephant formation.
I wonder why they call it the elephant formation.
Well, I don't know. I guess they don't forget it.
So now
I think it's just,
they give names to things.
Yeah, I had a defense in basketball I called IC was my press, and I got it from IC Norcom. Watching them, I picked it up, and I said, okay, I just use them. So
third down and a yard. Adibi gets the call, and he gets the first down as he burrows his way to the 39-yard line. Needed to get to the 40, so that's enough to move the chains and keep the clock moving. 4:29 as it stopped for the movement of the chain.
We will pick a player of the game for both of these teams tonight, and the player receive a trophy and a shirt. The trophy comes from Trophy World, located in the historic Hilton Village in Newport News. For all your recognition and award needs, trophies, plaques, custom engraving, contact Bob Hilling, Trophy World, 595-7354. Mention this announcement, you get special prices. Shirt comes from Tidewater Team Sports, your one-stop sports headquarters for screen printing, embroidering, uniforms, and apparel. Call 594-0411. David Chubb and Terry McNamara.
Nothing happening there. In fact, a loss of a yard back to the 40-yard line. Again, the footing in that area is rather treacherous. Watch the replay as you try and cut, and that Kecoughtan swarming defense allowing no effort, no advancement of the ball on the effort, I'm trying to say.
They I'm just thoroughly impressed. Now, last week they played real good against Hampton, showed tremendous ability. They were hurt more against the pass against Hampton than anything else. But boy, the run, can they stop a run?
This Kecoughtan team, win, lose, or draw, they have been impressive. And Jarrett Mayo falls on a loose ball, and the Warriors are back in the ball game. Got it at their own 44-yard line.
That was just a mix-up. It just never did get the ball.
Never did. DJ Parker never got the handle. He tried to hand it off without controlling it. And Jared Mayo, who has come up big game after game, fell on that loose ball. And that's what we talk about when we see this. No effort to pick it up and be a hero. Just fall on the football. And you know that's good coaching when the guys do what they're supposed to do. All right, this one is far from over, folks. Out of the gun, Lachey McMillan, 5'7", 140, big heart, throws downfield. Contact between the two players. No penalty flag as Backus and DJ Parker made contact with each other.
Well,
but it
actually, Parker was going for the ball, and Backus ran up his back.
Well, I think it was a good no call.
Yeah, I do too.
And watch it on the replay. You're going to see there was contact. It could have been against the offense if they wanted to call a penalty on that play. Because Backus did run into Parker, but they were both up and looking at the ball. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10, 3:25 remains in regulation. Just a touchdown and an extra point separates these two teams. This is Alan Backus. He's got some running room. This is about the first time all night he's gotten that kind of running room.
Everybody thought he was going to pass. He was not in the shotgun formation that time. He was under center, and it was just a straight handoff to Alan Backus, and everybody looking for a pass.
First real running room tonight for Backus.
Guess who made that tackle? DJ Parker.
17 yards on the carry. First down at the Phoebus 40 on the draw play. This is Backus again. Got about 3 yards, not really a draw play, kind of a delayed handoff. So Backus keeps the ball on the ground, and that means the clock continues to move. Each team has one timeout remaining. So that could become a very important factor as you watch the replay. He had good blocking, but not a lot of running room. 20 carries, just 65 yards for the Peninsula's leading rusher tonight, and he averages more than 168 yards per game. So the Phoebus defense has done the job. Now that is, if the scoreboard is correct, the final timeout for the Warriors, so that could be crucial. And we appreciate that.
I'm not sure exactly why he called the timeout, Tim, except that I saw 2 players go in and 1 come out. I didn't get them counted, but there may have been too many players on the field.
And that's what happens in a game when you're dealing with high school team, if that's in fact what happened.
Yeah,
but you couldn't afford to
speculating.
Penalty. No, and you couldn't afford to penalty because it's 2nd down and about 7. So you definitely don't want a penalty to make it 2nd down and 12. So the Warriors, to assure themselves of not being penalized, if that was the case, calls the timeout. Tommy Austin. And this is about as important a play in the game as there has been with 2:27 left, 2nd and long. Out of the shotgun, McMillan got Jared back there to help block, and he had a man open but couldn't quite get it to him. He overthrew Dante Edwards on the pattern. Got the wind behind him. That wind might have just gotten a little under the ball. It's a tough wind to throw in. Watch McMillan here. He just kind of lofted it up, and it very easily could have gotten swept away by that breeze. But it's not 4th down now. And did you notice who came in the backfield to block for him? Jared Mayo, who comes out of the game now.
Well, tell you what, he can hit you.
McMillan now will go under center. He's got double wide receivers to either side. A lone setback is Reese, and Reese gets the call. No, McMillan still has the football, and McMillan is taken down, making it 4th down.
Well, I tell you, if Reese would have had it, DB had him.
Garrett Powell makes the tackle, and with no timeouts remaining, it's 4th down and 10, and the Warriors have to go for it. Under 2 minutes remain. From the shotgun, McMillan throws, got a man open. It's Ed Ross at the 29-yard line, 1st down.
Oh, in the world he got that ball, but he went up high.
Ed Ross with a third huge catch on the night. Wow. Making that player of the game call a little tougher every moment.
It is.
McMillan in the gun, the lone setback. And he feels serious heat, throws and caught at the 20-yard line. A gain of 8, and you guessed it, Ed Ross again on the grab. Here's the replay of the last catch. Lying on the ground, Ed Ross makes the grab. 2nd down and 2. No timeouts left, 1:15 to go. McMillan under pressure, throws, the ball is tipped, and it's incomplete.
No, it's incomplete. Almost intercepted.
Almost intercepted. That ball looked like a pinball as it was batted around and almost picked off by Manny Anderson.
It'll bring up a 32.
That momentarily stops the clock with 1:09 remaining.
Well, you got a 3rd and 2, Tim. You got to pick up the 1st down.
And the Warriors trying to get a play from the sidelines, but they have no timeouts, so they can't huddle or take a timeout to get the play. McMillan feeling some pressure, racked as he throws, and it is picked off. And who is the young man? That's DJ Parker, who is going to be our Phoebus player of the game. DJ Parker with his 2nd interception.
And I tell you, it's a toss-up. Ed Ross has done a great job, but McMillan threw the ball to him.
And Backus has just played outstanding.
Well, I'm leaning towards Backus because Allen did such a great job defensively tonight.
Yeah.
Stopped a lot of potential long runs. So, let's go with Allen Backus and DJ Parker.
And believe me, Lachey McMillan and Ed Ross and a whole lot of other players on Kecoughtan's team could have gotten that award, as well as the same on the Phoebus side. As the Phantoms want to just take a knee, the Warriors still playing because this is not going to be just a patsy thing. They want to have one last shot at it, but appears for the 2nd week in a row, a late touchdown will be the difference between Kecoughtan and victory. What an outstanding effort on the parts of both of these teams tonight. The Hearts of Champions.
No losers out there.
No, sir. The Hearts of Champions on both sides of the ball. The Phantoms trying to remain undefeated and win the Peninsula District, which now we've got a penalty flag down, which does stop the clock with 23 seconds remaining. It's 2nd down and 12, but let's see what the penalty is. But Phoebus is going to win the Peninsula District title. They only have one game left, I believe, is with Gloucester.
Yeah, that's it.
So we have a penalty.
Prior to the snap, there was encroachment against the defense. It's going to be 5 yards and still 2nd down. We're also going to reset the clock to 27 seconds. Please reset the clock.
27 seconds on the clock.
Okay, let's go 5 yards. Back up, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, we needed this. We needed this.
So they put the 5 seconds back on the clock, and then they restart the clock. So that means that Phoebus does have to run a play, or they will be penalized for delay of game because they have 25 seconds to run a play. Without those 5 seconds, they wouldn't have had to run a play.
That's true.
In any event, they are lined up to take a knee, and that's what they do. And this ball game is over. What a hard-fought game! I'll tell you one thing: we've had some great games this season, but the last 2 have been as good a games as you'd want to watch all year. And Kecoughtan, unfortunately for them, came up short by 7 points in this game, and they lost last week to the Hampton Crabbers by 4 points, but not through a lack of effort. Tommy Austin's group doing a great job, but they're still in the hunt. But they've got to do almost.
Well, I tell you, if they play this well next week, they could very well beat the Woodside team.
Well, they're going to have to probably, because this Woodside team is a tough opponent. But that will be the task for the Kecoughtan Warriors as their record falls to 7-2, and the Phoebus Phantoms move to 9-0 and all but lock up the Peninsula District title and an automatic first-round home team berth in the regional playoffs. Our players of the game again, Alan Backus from Kecoughtan and DJ Parker from the Phoebus Phantoms. Tonight's game has been brought to you, as I think we have that ready for you, by Zoom's, your friendly neighborhood store with 14 convenient locations. By Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. Also brought to you in part by Stallion Brothers Heating and Cooling. And also brought to you in part by Parklawn Wood Funeral Home at Hampton Center Parkway and Armstead Avenue. The final score again, Phoebus 13 and Kecoughtan 6. For Bob Hintz, Bob Killen, Bob and Mike Hauser, this is Tim Cole. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.